The 100% Cup Series takes their annual trip to the West Coast, and here we find ourselves in Sin City at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Who is going to get the jackpot and who is going to have some frustrations and head back on an upset tone? Let's find out together, and it's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth. We got a three-man show here today. We got Cody Bird, a driver who didn't unfortunately make the show, but he's going to help us out, and then Admin Damaris at the bottom. He is going to also help us out here as Andre's a little bit under the weather, guys. So we obviously had the Division 2 race last night on my channel, PTR TV, and we saw a great bit of racing. We saw a lot of multi-groove, and I expect, especially with the Division 1 guys tonight, we should have a barn burner of a show.
Yeah, Corey, absolutely. Looks like it's going to be a great show here today. Obviously, throughout the week qualifying, we saw speeds where they were all within almost under a second of each other, which at a 1.5 mile track, that's kind of impressive.
Yeah, look, Vegas isn't quite as wide as Auto Club, but there's definitely going to be some 3 wide, probably some 4 wide as we get back to the here at the end of the race.
Yeah, what we saw last night, of course, with the multi-grooves, of variable banking here at Las Vegas, these guys were able to go on the bumps in 1 and 2 all the way to the bottom or rock the fence, running the Tyler Reddick line. Even in 3 and 4 against the wall, saw guys running that with some serious speed. Of course, this being the high roller 400, you run that high lane, you do risk the consequence of hitting it up in the fence. But thus far, of course, we are in our practice session right now, qualifying already situated. RJ Root, top of the board here in practice, almost 2/10 up on the field. So, guys, that 45 machine definitely coming out to play here tonight.
Yeah, it's no shock really that quite a few teams just popping around the garage here, Corey, man, talking to all the guys before the race. A lot of confidence walking around Vegas. I mean, you got the Apex team, Team Conti, Dirty South Racing. They're all pretty confident about their stuff. And as Cody's getting into earlier, man, the qual times are pretty close, and looks like everybody brought a piece to roll the dice here at Vegas. So I'd expect some pretty close racing up front. Hopefully everyone's pretty patient and takes it easy at the beginning. But again, when you can go 4 wide, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, going 4 wide at a track like Las Vegas. Excuse me, sorry about that. 4 wide around Vegas is very, very sketchy. Saw it multiple times last night, and up on your screen right now is the points for the year. Matt White and Dustin Hall are our 2 winners so far, with Kevin Steele the lead point getter so far. Cam Stone and Jim Schofield up there. And Corey, mentioning Jim Schofield, he's a rookie coming in here and showing his speed. That's really impressive, knowing some of the talent that's already here.
Yep, and of course, Dustin Hall winning last week at Auto Club and then winning Division 1 right here at this very circuit last night. So he has that momentum, and as Carlos uses the telestrator there, somebody will no longer be in that 22nd position on the cut line. But luckily for you, you head to the very elusive, quote-unquote, Admin Motor Speedway in a few weeks' time. See if you can go and defend that July victory.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need a run. It does do my heart some good to see me sitting in 22nd. Of course, that won't be the case after the night. Get up here in the booth, man, doing part to hang out with you guys and see what the guys can do here at Vegas. But yeah, Admin Motor Speedway, or Atlanta, as you guys might know, it's been pretty good to me. So hopefully we can have another good runs. We got the rookie points up on the screen. We got some pretty quick rookies here this year. As we mentioned, Jim Schofield, Patrick Gitter, who again, just in my pre-race interviews, was mentioned a couple times by several folks. So looking for some good things from Gitter. Expected to have some pace. There's some guys that are worried about him and may have to employ some strategy to get around him or stay in front of him. So as we roll into the team points as well, as I was mentioning, we got Apex, the 2021 team champions that are back after a year hiatus, and in 2023 leading the team points right now.
Yep, but that is point standings aside. We got to get ready and head down trackside, guys, because these guys are lining up and we got to get a show on the road. So it's the 3Y TV starting lineup here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, qualifying done last night, and we got these times here on the screen just in a matter of a couple seconds. Ralph Hutchison in the 8 ride going to start this race from the front row with that we just talked about, rookie Patrick Gitter on the outside of the front row. Bobby Anderson in third, Matt Diciani in 4th. Adam Benefield, see if he could piss excellence from that 5th spot here tonight. Jim Schofield in 6th. Alex Russell in 7th. Dustin Hall, last night's winner and last week's winner, in 8th. And then we got Alex Van de Sand and fastest in warm-up practice, RJ Root. Cody?
Starting 11th is Clayton Hoffman in the 92, and Alex Murray, who just had a poor accident last week at California, starts 12th in the 22. Next up, starting 13th, once the screen rolls.
Back. There we go.
Carl Dotson in the 2, with Jason Baker alongside him. Next up is Boyd Hogan making a return this week to Las Vegas, alongside Jeremy Miller. Starting 17th, Derek Heitman. 18th, Jeffrey Souza. 19th, Jonathan Delaney. And 20th, Mark Padgett.
We got Ken Ron in the 21st spot, who said he was pretty happy with his qualifying position there at 21st. Is typically in the back, so he'll be looking to move up. John Broussard, another rookie doing well here in the 53, starting 22nd. Kyle Ammon in 23rd of Team Conti, who will also be looking to move up. Said he's looking to get a top 15 here tonight, so hopefully he'll be able to do that. Chad Sander in 24th. We got Brandon Pierce starting in 25th. Andrew Dyson's in the 26th position, and Lucas Hoisma starting in 27th. The man from France, Sammy Bory, is starting in 28th, and Trevor C. Ryan, who I believe is making his first start of the season here in 29th. And Chris James is starting in the 82 machine, rounding out your top 30.
All right, we got to rip right through these. Wayne Grassy, 31st. J.C. Gibson, 32nd. Nolan Hodgson, he was in the booth with me last night. He's going to be 33rd. Sean O'Brien in 34th. Tanner Marty and Alex Princeton rounding up the caboose here this evening, guys. But it is a long night of racing. We got 2 stages. We'll be racing till lap 180 and 165. So we should have a green flag stop or some kind of pit strategy. And they got 7 sets of tires to play with. That it was a big contention point last night with tire strategy. Let's see how it fares here tonight. Who's going to roll the dice? Who's going to hit the jackpot? Who's going to end up on a rollback? Who's going to be upset? Let's all find out. Entering that Geico start zone here. Ralph Hutcherson in the 8, his new ride. He's going to get on that loud pedal, and we're racing in the desert.
Ralph Hutchinson gets out to a massive jump early on the rest of the field, already looking to pull 2 car lengths on the rest of the field.
Yeah, they're still 2x2 as we expect, and everyone's playing nice so far. But again, we're only through the first 2 corners and no incidents. Like I said, Ralph Hutchinson's still there. And it looks like we can't quite make that out. That is Bobby Anderson, who's another guy that concerned a few of the guys in the garage that was showing some pretty good speed here at Las Vegas. Showed some pretty good speed also at Auto Club. So as they come down for lap number 1 on the lap number 2, 2x2.
Last night, Anderson had a pretty good run in the Division 2 race. But thus far, we see a lot of guys running the bottom. But I tell you guys, last night, what I saw in Division 2 was these drivers really starting to rip the top early. And the guys who ripped the top early, we were using Mario Kart analogies. They were, using the bullet bill, the magic mushroom. They were using the turbo pad. But that outside really started to burn their stuff 10, 15 laps in. So you might see guys doing that now. You can go back to, even Dustin Hall. He's on that outside, and a couple other guys, Van de Sand and company. So those guys doing it now, it's going to be a matter of time to see if they can withstand it with the tire wear later in the run.
Yeah, last night, Corey, I was one of those early on that was rim riding the top and went backwards in a matter of laps. But yes, it's going to be interesting to see how these tire strategies play out. From what I was hearing last night was a lot of guys were saving the first 20, 30 laps of the run to really get that drive off at the end.
Yeah, and a little further back, the top 4 or 5 here are starting to string out and check out. But getting back here to Benefield and the guys like Adam Van de Sand, Clayton Hoffman are still 2x2 trying to work each other out here on the inside and outside. I'll say, guys, that, just what I learned last night in Division 2 is you are able to run the top. It's not quite as fast. I was finding myself running the top later in the run because I had a tighter setup and was trying to lean a little bit more on that right rear and get some more rotation through the corners. It can be effective middle way through the run. I did talk to John Delaney, who said he did expect to find himself up top at some point this evening, try to make some moves. So that's somebody that you definitely watch out for in the number 6 state analyzer machine as we go down into turn 3, and they're still 2x2 back here racing hard.
Yes, they are. Now, Delaney last night, he went off strategy because again, last night the 4 sets of tires they had available really put these guys into a quandary with their pit strategy. But of course, with the longer distance, a lot more tires on the wall. So I don't think we'll have that same situation here this evening, but we're on board with John Delaney, who he kind of started the race, but didn't quite finish the race. Not sure if something happened, but let's see what he can do coming from that 10th spot. Currently, he is running right behind. I'm trying to make out who that is right now, but can't quite make it out here. From my perspective, Benefiel on that outside lane, so trying to figure out where to run here. But guys, Ralph Hutchison, I mean,
that is somebody who's not going to be getting points.
Someone who's not getting points is that?
Number 69, but I think that's the 45 or 47.
Boyd Hagen in the 69 right now. We're just trying to make out there may be a paint scheme livery conflict of sorts, which we had a lot of last night. I know we're working on, but we may have it. Here's a 3 wide here later in the pack here. That right around the 12th, 13th, 14th position. They're currently 3 abreast right now, heading into turn number 1. Carl Dodson on the outside. He's going to get turned.
Oh, caution out on the track. Yeah, Carl Dodson is sideways sliding down the bank right now. Whoa, everybody missed him. That is amazing. Great job by these guys. Oh, secondary issues here. We got, oh man, it's the Orange Phoenix car there, and Trevor C. Ryan looks like they got into it after the caution. A little secondary action happening there.
Yeah, so we're lucky to catch that live, and the replay is queuing up right now here. You can see 3 wide entering turn number 1. It is doable here, but everyone needs to know the situation at bay right there, and I'm not sure Dodson was fully aware that they were 3 wide. He only left the space for 2, and luckily for Dodson, he was fine, but you saw that residual contact that occurred later. Somebody pancaking that inside fence there. See the 69.
Good time in locking it down there too, Corey. He got it locked down pretty quick and allowed people to sit still so everybody get around him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was talk on voice chat there or if it was everyone just reacting the right way, but all in all, good job. And the guy who did hit the inside wall didn't quite make that up. I think you guys said it was Dyson. As I like to allude, these next-gen cars, #tank mode, at least for the current moment. I think he may be all right in that ride. We saw a lot of guys have incidents last night and over the course of the season and still have some pretty good pace. But back to live action in just a second here. And pit road was open, and it is, as expected, a pretty empty place, guys.
And Ron's down.
Yeah. This early in a run, it would be surprising to come down and take some tires, but as you can see, it looks like Ken Ra's coming down as well with many others. So some of these guys are trying to play an early tire strategy, trying to get some fresh tires on and get to the front as soon as possible, so that way they can avoid a lot of the mayhem.
Or just fuel. I just saw that car we're focused on right now. No jacks went up, just topping off. We saw last night, I think it was about 62 was the farthest I saw anybody go. Still puts you 8 laps short of the stage, but you never know what these guys have up their sleeve.
That's exactly where I was going with that, Corey. Many times, even last night Division 2, what I'd be expecting is guys to give themselves options on the fuel run. So you come down, you fill it up. You've only gone a couple laps. It gives you a couple more laps of wiggle room to play through when you want to come in this first stage here. You may have a setup that, hey man, you just may want that weight in the back to give you a few more laps of it feeling like you want it to. So that's what I expect. I definitely wouldn't take tires after being there 10 laps. It's not that much of a tire advantage, quite honestly, and you'd just be wasting a set. So we do have 8 sets total, so that means you do have 7 sets you can change onto here for the race. So that should be enough to get here. That unless you have some issues spinning where you're burning up your tires for some reason or you're in an accident, I would expect to work through all those sets.
Yeah, much easier position than last night, actually, because if you think about it, we had a 200 lapper last night and we only had 4 on the wall, so only an extra 100 miles, but we got 3 more. So definitely some strategy calls can be played, and we should actually have a little bit easier of a race probably to call for setup consistency, because remember last night Division 2 with running the Xfinity time schedule, we basically went late afternoon and we did end in the very beginning stages of night, but we are currently I think around 12:45 virtual standard time. So unless this absolutely drags on into oblivion, which all of us hope it doesn't, probably should end this thing right around 3:30, 4 o'clock sim time. So it should still be afternoon, and I don't think we'll have too many radical setup issues with these guys as the track changes.
Now that you said that, that's going to happen, Corey. It's going
if we're here for 5+ hours, then No, I don't even know if the session. I don't think the session goes that long. So I don't
It
think
does
we
not.
have
I think we limited it to 4 hours, guys. There's no way we're staying
4.5.
for 5 hours.
4.5. I'm getting the exact. So we can't quite go 5, but we can go pretty damn close to it. But obviously, I hope we're joking in that capacity. But let's try it once more. We're taking lap number 12 right now. Hutchison, the control car to the inside. Get her to the outside. Let's try it once more. Entering that Geico zone. It's not active, so he's going to be able to go early as he wants. He's going to go very early in the zone. Is Hutchison get a nice spaced out start. Gitter is going to fall right back in line. It's going to still be side by side with Hoffman and Anderson for third.
Yeah, the side-by-side racing early on, kind of a play on with it being a fresh restart. These guys are going to try to just get in line as soon as possible, but some people may, at the very least, hop to the outside, try to pick off a few guys while the tires
John
are
Delaney on the outside turbo pad. Here he goes. Almost went 2 for 1 there. He's going to give a push to Hutchison there. Right, bump draft, Auto Club Daytona style. They're going to try to put Gitter out to pasture there. But as I said, you can use that Mario Kart turbo pad on the outside, but what's it going to do 30, 40, 50 laps into the run is the $1 billion question.
Yeah, it's definitely the way that iRacing does its physics for all those watching is, it's approximation of physics, right? You can't mirror everything. We don't have the computing power. So, the longer you have that right rear under load, the more it's going to rear. So depending how you have your platform set up and the aero and your springs and your shock set up, if you were to continually run that outside, you would potentially be wearing out your right rear. So I don't think you'll see anybody running up top for long. Like I said, Delaney, he called it in the pre-race when I talked to him earlier. He said he's going to use it for just that, for the Mario star effect, to get around a couple guys if you needed to. But definitely the optimum line, especially early in the run, is going to be down low. That's where you're going to want to see guys. You're going to see them fighting to get there, stay there, get in the draft so they can save their equipment and get them all ready for this run.
Exactly that. And I do see someone in chat say thanks to Rob Tracy, which does cue me to bring up one of the announcements we had this week in the series. Rob Friend's close friend Dave Bush is in need. Dave was diagnosed with emphysema and COPD several years ago. Unfortunately, has a short time left. A GoFundMe has been set up to help his family with medical bills and the inevitable funeral costs. This community at the 100% Racing League sanction has been very tight with league members in need. And I know they'll come together once more. There is a link in the description of this YouTube video if you're interested in that cause.
Yes, so that's the thing with 100% Racing. We're all a very tight-knit community. When bad things happen to community members, we all step up to try to help.
Yeah, I know hashtag Jimmy Strong has been going and will continue to go. So that's just kind of the good connection that these group of drivers have developed. But back to the racing at hand here. Currently, I think we're showing on screen right around the position of Dustin Hall, which is in 11th. And now we are kind of going back mid-pack, kind of giving a little bit of a scroll. Everybody running that single file. And guys, we did see, again, relating to XNS last night, took about 15-20 laps of green flag racing, and that's really what caused the separation to begin. The handling started to vary, the tracks were changing, the tires were, cars were getting loose, having issues, different lanes. We really started to see a standard intermediate race where everybody was separated by about a tenth and a half, 2/10 a second as our track statistic weather conditions on screen right now. Looks like we're slowly starting to work ourselves to that point.
Yep. We definitely, you mentioned it with the qual times, but I mean, the race pace is just as close. I mean, you got 40 cars on track. You might have 6, 7, 8 tenths between first to 40th, right, when you start looking at lap time. So it's actually pretty amazing. I want to give some love back here to the back market gang, as me and Cody are usually a member of. They were racing pretty good here with, looks like we had Cameron Stone back there, the 2020 champ. He's running in 30th, so it looks like he's taking it easy, trying to learn his equipment, see what he has around him. He's got some teammates around him back there as well. You got Sean O'Brien Jr. right behind him, and Derek Hypen in the 76. So you got a little pack here in the back that are single filed out and just getting on and knock some laps out of the run here. It's like we got a new paint too on that 57 that usually runs a silver bullet, but we got a little gold to green action there.
I saw a webcam pop up really quickly. I don't know who that was, but quickly away. So maybe something secret going on there we don't know about. But all those guys in the back of the field right now that you just kind of talked about, Damaris, they were big hitters last night. Jason Taylor was off strategy, and he nearly won the race last night until pit strategy. You can see Cam Stone on screen right now with the live webcam footage. And that number 57, kind of like an alternate scheme here this evening.
Looking very studious.
Yes, indeed. As we got the fancy triple screen layout here by the, of course, Carlos Acosta pushing all the buttons here in the background. Live footage up top. Cam Stone to the couple different camera angles. So, cool shots there going on as he's underneath that number 26 machine.
Yes.
Around late 20s right now.
Yeah, seeing Cameron Stone in a different colored paint scheme is kind of throwing me off, big time. I don't know about you, Damaris. It's confusing me. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's bringing out emotions in me I don't understand right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with you guys for the better part of the past year, off and on stages, and I don't think I've ever seen anything other than that Sterling Marlin Coors car. So, we all got to learn, and we have our throwback weekends and all that fun stuff. You have your theme weekends, so you guys are used to running different themes, but some guys just run that same ride, and that's just what we're used to. But back up front, guys, still haven't seen much. It looks like John Delaney might just be being pretty patient right now, staying right in the wake of Hutchison. And then, like I talked about, we're starting to develop some gaps right now, side by side with Clayton Hoffman and Bobby Anderson. And just saying Terry Labonte in a Camry, there's things that just don't compute. That just gets added to the list right there. But that's a battle for third, but they've already dropped off a second and a half off your race leaders.
Yeah, seeing Terry Kellogg's car in 2023 is confusing enough. But yes, as you can see, these battles are all over the track, already looking 2 and 3 wide. In front of this purple car, Jeremy Miller, you'll see Brandon Pierce, who started off this year not very strong, having some on-track incidents, if you may remember last week.
Yeah, I think a lot of those incidents involved the 15 of Robert Miller, actually, who coincidentally is not here at the race today. But yeah, we're looking on screen again. We got the pack battle in here. Looks like we got Mark Padgett trying to work his way through the field. Right behind there, Adam Benefield. Looks like we've had a change for the lead here too, Corey. So Delaney's made the move on Ralph Hutchison up at the front as they cross the start-finish line. So Delaney is now, looks like these two have stretched their legs and they've got their own little breakaway pack. So Delaney's just got around him. So I expect we're going to see Ralph Hutchison do what Delaney was doing to him and just mark him, stay in his draft, and probably save some fuel here too while he's at it.
Yeah, off of turn 2 that last lap. Hutchison just did not get a good run. Delaney just kind of drafted him down the back straightaway. And he just said, you know what, go, John, you got it. Just go. We got plenty of laps left. So Hutchison's just going to kind of stay in his wake, and we'll see if he can stay with him or if he drops back. But again, Anderson in third, Hogan in fourth. If I can enunciate, that would be fabulous. They're still battling for that third spot.
I think I like Huygen better.
Huygen, there you go. It's always fun butchering names here. Then that happens to be the guy's nickname for the rest of his time in the league.
That never happens with jinxes from you, Corey. Never.
Well, I mean, kind of in the fence there is Hogan, whatever you want to call him. But with the Photoshop that you put on my channel, Cody, you're just Bagman to me, which actually works because the guy from MRN, Bagman. So that's my new name for you, whether you like it or not. So.
That's okay. It's better than some other ones.
T-shirts coming soon. Looks like we got a call out on the radio too here. So the number 2 is coming down pit road. So I guess our first look at some strategery maybe going in. It's very early.
Carl Dodson. Remember, he was involved in that earlier scruffle in turn number 1. Now, this is within the fuel window to get to lap 80, 50 laps. So this will do it. If that's his goal. He was running in the mid-20s at the time, so not quite a front runner, but it does open the door for that opportunity if anybody else chooses to take it. Keep an eye on anybody else peeling off.
He was pretty strong last night in Division 2, Corey, so this might be a play to see what he has long run, or maybe to try to pull other people down a little early and fight them on his turf, right? If you have a good long run car, then there's nothing better than to try to maybe force some early pits from other people so that you have the advantage later in the run. So we'll see what happens. It's an interesting call, though. It looks like no one's coming with him, so it's just him, and it's never a good feeling when you're out there on the island by yourself.
It's kind of designated that spurt. That's normally my strategy in these tomorrows.
Hey man, same here. Hey, I led 2 laps at Auto Club last week on the way to my 11th place finish, which may be my best finish of the year because this is just a tough field. I mean, we're rolling in every race with strengths of field of upwards of 4K, and we got some of the best drivers here on iRacing, as you guys can see. I mean, anybody that's familiar with the sim and familiar with the esports world and what can happen in public sessions, the quality of racing is just so high, and it's so hard to finish good here. Hell, guys, it's hard to even make a race. For all the fans out there, you do have to qualify into this series. So we do have a charter system. So we have 25 tier 1 charters. So that's equivalent to, charter teams in NASCAR, right? Those guys have a guaranteed spot in the race as long as you make a lap or attempt to qualify. And then you got 15 spots for guys to qualify on speed. So you gotta make the time to get here into the show. There are quite a few guys that are racing for the first time this season just because it's been so hard to get into the show. Wayne Grass is one of those folks. So speaking to him earlier, he was just thrilled to finally make a race after missing Daytona and Auto Club. So it's high competition here, man. It's so hard to make any moves and get good finishes. These guys.
Yeah, I actually heard through the grapevine that there was actually a black market of people selling charters above retail value just because other people wanted them. That's the kind of level that you guys got with people who really want to get in this series. Counting the bucks there as Bugs on screen.
Yeah, I was one of them willing to pay overpriced because why? I'm up in the booth this week with you, Corey.
It looks like
we need that. We need that meme. Anybody got charters? With the guy with the hat and the white lips. Anybody got charters?
Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it looks like we got a battle here for second. So looks like, is that the 69 car I'm looking at?
Yeah,
the actual 69 car.
I keep throwing a Y at it. Hogan. Hogan.
I thought it was an I.
I think it's Hogan.
Caution.
Caution.
Oh,
so that will give us time to and that's going to be Brandon Pierce, who has had the unlucky string of races.
Oh no.
I think it's his 3rd consecutive wreck.
Brandon, no.
And I can see here that it was a 3 wide. We'll get the replay queued up here, but I just checked it on my data right here on the back. See Carlos is sifting through the tape reel right here. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Not a lot of room. Car in the middle. Kind of cut low on exit there. Obviously incidental, just tight confine. Looks like that was Alex Russell. The turkey in the sandwich there, just kind of right reared Brandon, and then Chris James, innocent bystander on the outside, and we'll just see if hashtag tank mode can save these guys.
I'm going to be on the job at this rate.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much damage, as you said. So, Alex Russell there in the middle in that 27, racing hard with the 38 on the inside, and the 82 Chris James on the outside, and. 3, the track is, you can run it 3 wide, but on that exit, man, it gets real tight off of turn 4. I can say that I too have been caught in that same situation many a time over the last 3 years, and it's nowhere for you to go, man. Once someone makes a tap, the car gets unstable, and there you go.
Pit road's a busy place, guys. Everyone right about halfway through stage 1. Deciding it's a good time to use one of those 7 sets.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. You got to come down. You got to get 4 more years on the car. You got to fill up fuel, get ready for it, set yourself up for the stage. There's really I don't think there's any advantage to trying to be off cycle here, even if you're expecting another caution. I think the risk is just too great. So everyone's coming down. They're going to put 4 fresh tires on and roll off and get it going here again.
Carl Dodson did, of course, stay out. Remember, he pitted under green a few laps ago, so he has 7 laps on his tires, but he is, I believe, so Jason Taylor in the 41, he is going to get the free pass in that running a very, very flamboyantly colored 41 machine tonight. But Dodson should get the waiver out.
Yeah, getting a wave around early on, it's tough once you go a lap down just because of how spread out these races can be and how long a green flag laps. Once you go one lap down, it's just going to keep snowballing to 2 to 3 to 4. I've been stuck in that situation many of times, Corey.
As have I. And of course, something worth note for this series, particularly being an open setup series, is, we are coming into week 13 on the iRacing service. Of course, next week we still will be racing, even though it is build week. And I don't know if you guys saw the release notes or not, but this next gen car has some heavy duty changes being placed to it. So it's going to be a short week for the teams coming up next week to get ready for a very difficult track in the Phoenix Raceway. I don't know if you guys have had any back end chatter about that this afternoon.
Yeah, I've heard a little. The biggest thing I saw in the notes and many others was an updated tire model. Obviously, going to Phoenix with that track being very dependent on your setup, this may have a chance at breaking a lot of people's setups and having to start from scratch going into next week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Cody. I mean, you're going to have a short runaway, so there's a lot of, as Corey mentioned, this is an open setup leagues, and a lot of these guys have setup builders, they have crew chiefs, they work all week on the team side. A lot of our teams are affiliated with esports teams on the pro side, and a lot of work goes into these sets. I mean, they run all week. Many guys will run officials. They have obligations outside of our league, so they'll have sponsorship obligations. They got to go out there and chase those checkered flags. So, we've had that happen in the past. I think the season 2 update has hit usually between Phoenix and Richmond, so that's happened a couple times in this series, and it's always tough to adjust. But the guys usually will, it'll be a short week, short runway, but they'll have to get on top of it and be ready to roll at Phoenix.
Now, of course, in the real world, it was just announced that there is a new short track package coming to all tracks that will quote unquote have wet weather abilities. So a 2-inch spoiler and some very simplified underbody construction with the diffuser. So that will take about 30% of the downforce away and try to create some better racing. Now, I don't think we have been given that yet because it is so hot off the presses it has no track time, but nonetheless, the next gen car getting some updates, so we'll see how that does affect the racing. And of course, tire model just was a very generic update statement, but we are on 1 lap to go right now. So Delaney did exit the pits in the lead as he entered it. Hagen, I'm going to say it right, in the 2nd spot. And then Hoffman, Gitter, and Hutchison back to the 5th spot from his pole position. And then rounding out our top 10 thus far, lap number 39, Schofield, Benefiel, Murray, RJ Root, and then Bobby Anderson back to the 10th spot. So slowly dropping back there in the Kellogg's ride.
Yeah, say Schofield, Benefield 10 times quick, please, Corey. I
Once
think that would be...
I succeeded once. That's my accomplishment for the evening. But which one of you two booth newbies wants to call a restart here?
I guess I will. So here we are. Pace car's going to drop in this time. Will be interesting to see what happens here with Clayton Hoffman being a teammate to Boyd Hagen. What happens? So here we go through the Geico restart zone. And Jonathan Delaney is getting ready to take off here, and he'll regain the lead going into turn 1 here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's some checkups there on the inside. Looks like I think the 8 car was anticipating a little bit, got into the back, but hopefully no black flags are issued there. That is we do have some automated race control here, so the automated stewards of iRacing programming will be watching to make sure nobody gets a jump start. As we go down into turn 3, the usual suspects are up front. John Delaney leading them down single file on that bottom on fresh sets of tires, as we expect. Leading Clayton Hoffman, Patrick Gitter, and Boyd. Again, I'm going with Hogan, guys. I'm gonna ride that out until someone tells me otherwise.
All right, halfway.
Your top 4.
So Hogan, tomato, take our picks here until we get clarification. But halfway in the stage, lap number 41. Everybody on these fresh tires, not a surprise. Running on the fresh tires down to the bottom. You got maximum grip. Somebody deep in the field there was kind of wall riding off too, unintentionally, but seems to be no incident further from it here as we're on the static speed shot there. Somebody, again, people like to run right on the top on these early laps in the run, and it's fast, but they're still 3 wide. You just have to wonder how long they're going to be keeping it up there. But I think once we get about 10 laps of the run, tires start to wear, you'll see more of these leaders start to fan around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But looks like Hoffman, he's come with a pretty pony. He's coming to play today, trying to see if he can close in on Delaney for that race lead. And that number 92 machine, currently about 2 car lengths back, 0.2 of a second on board with him right now. And seeing what he can do as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah.
You know, I'm seeing something interesting, Corey. If you're looking back further in the pack, so we spoke about Cam Stone a little earlier, but I am seeing the Apex cars. They seem to be the ones running up high in the back there, trying to make up speed. I think what that is, and I'd be interested to talk to one of them, is, when you're saving here in Vegas, a lot of guys will lift and kind of coast and let the car steer and settle into that lane to get the rotation. But what that does is it opens up, and if you hold it wide open on the outside, you get that momentum coming down the front stretch. That's a pretty good opportunity to make up some spots. I'm curious to see if that's what they're doing, or again, if they're just doing some recon for later.
Now, the biggest thing with that, from my knowledge of the physics of iRacing and such, is that right now it starts off, there's not a lot of rubber up there. So as more guys do it, more rubber will go down there. It will eventually become less abrasive. But right now, he's cleaning it off, essentially. I know that Michael Waltrip used to be known for that. He was the one that nobody else wanted to go up there. He was the one that would always volunteer to go up there first, clear out the dust off, get a layer of rubber down, and everybody else would follow suit. But I guess that's what those guys are doing, Cam Stone and company. So everybody else just kind of waiting for that to come in and see what they can do here. Dustin Hall looking to the inside, not really showing his stuff yet quite yet, but he does have kind of tendencies to kind of act like a closer and just find himself in the positions he needs to be in later in the run. So seeing him hang out there 12th, 13th, not much of a surprise, not much of a concern to me, knowing what he did last night and what he's capable of.
Yeah, and as these laps click off, obviously some drivers feel the need to go early. I mean, last night, I believe there was, after the green flag cycle, I noticed like I pushed my car a little too hard, and some other guys did too, but a lot of us did save an extra set, and I wonder what's going to happen here. If they're thinking about that maybe for the future, obviously that's quite a long run, but we'll see.
Yeah, sometimes you have to play these races on the long call. I mean, you can kind of, on paper, say, hey, if we'll pit around here, you can kind of make a green flag strategy. We'll pit here, we'll pit on the stage, we'll pit here, we'll pit on the stage, we'll pit here, we'll pit. You can kind of do it on paper, and then have a loose idea of, all right, I got 2 sets to play with or 3 sets to play with if the cautions play a certain way. You can kind of call that out if you want, but it's racing. You put something on paper, it's going to go wrong. You got to learn how to think on the fly. So I'm sure that's what these guys are doing. But as we take lap number 48, I'll tell you, talked about everybody running in one line. I mean, we got pretty much a Daytona Conga line here. Everybody, you can see on this shot right now, everybody for the most part ring right around that inside lane. Kind of strange to see that.
Yeah, painting that white line again early on in the run, that's definitely, if you're going to hold it wide open, if you're going to actually use all the tire and all the setup to your advantage, it's definitely the faster way around this place. Look, track position is so important just to begin, because it is pack racing, and once you give up that spot, you may not get it back, and you may be going backwards in a hurry. So you definitely want to paint that line. You want to be on the optimal line again, unless you do see an opportunity. And again, we've seen that back in the pack, right? So when you're back there in the traffic, you got to pick your spots. Maybe you can go high, get the momentum, and catch someone off guard. But yeah, you definitely want to be on the bottom with cool tires. But to your point, as you made, Corey, maybe that is a strategy of Apex and some other drivers. Maybe they're just trying to set that up for that last stage, right? And go up there, lay some of that rubber down, so that is an option for you later on in the race.
First side-by-side battle is looks like to a Mark Padgett on the outside, and Anderson just got past. Dustin Hall trying to work his way into the top 10. Now Padgett's going to go low and try to get underneath Cam Stone, who just got himself into the top 10, but may not be for much longer. But we'll get in line. Padgett will kind of slowly drift up the track. That opens up the door for Dustin Hall. He's going to go to the inside, and drafting has been very paramount in these next-gen cars on these intermediate tracks. Saw it at Auto Club and have been seeing it here. Anderson kind of came down, gave Hall just a little bit of momentum, just enough to get by Padgett there. So move Hall up to the 11 spot. But other than that, you can see a little bit further back, we see side by side, and almost a 3 wide there entering turn number 3. The purple car, that is the number 30 of Jeremy Miller, looking inside Kyle Ammon there for 15.
Yeah, and last weekend especially showed how much the drafting package matters at the end. We saw it between Dustin Hall and Patrick Gitter there for a while, and it ultimately led to Dustin taking the win. Now, with all this drafting, though, we'll see what happens as we get closer to the end of the stage if it causes some bigger accidents.
Well, I got a comment in the chat saying that the single file may be due to the drivers being afraid to incident out of the race. I guess it's a good time to dive into what that is. So we do have an incident limit here in this series. Tonight, I believe that is 11, which is pretty low. So that you know how that works. Again, for the folks that aren't familiar, iRacing has a no-fault automated race admin system. You accrue incident points, for example, going off track, or is one incident point if you hit a wall or lose control. You spin a car, that is 2 incident points. If you have contact with another car, that's 4 incident points. So essentially what that means is these guys can accrue 10 incident points, and when they hit that fateful 11, they are automatically disqualified. So there's no warning, there's no black flag. So that's a good point. You do have to be careful, and you do have to pick your spots when you're racing. Again, these, as you can see, these guys are going 3 wide, so there's not very much of that. But that could be a symptom, right, causing people to lay low here in the first stage.
Before the lead, Clayton Hoffman managed to get to the inside of John Delaney to take that lead. Delaney had to go to the second lane. Luckily, was able to cut off and get back in line before Gitter, but lead changed 92 to P1. But to your point there, Martha, I know incident caps never really were a concern last year, but the biggest reason they've come to fruition in this current season is with hashtag tank mode in these next-gen cars. You've seen guys have modest size incidents that would normally take them out, but they're still able to keep going, rack up that 4X, that 8X, and still have a competitive car. And then, you know, coming off turn 4 here, taking the checkers, we lose 3 guys on the front straightaway. So it's kind of just a weird set of nuances that's kind of caused something that wasn't really an issue and brought it to the limelight.
Yeah, and with all this moving around already and everything, it's interesting to see, like you mentioned with the 3-car breakaway, most of these guys all have an allegiance to one another. Jonathan Delaney has worked with Ralph Hutchinson in the past, and I don't know how much he's worked with Boyd Hogan, but Legacy's coming to show that last week missing it wasn't going to be the case this week.
See here later in the field, that is the number 8 of Ralph Hutchison. He is the first one to kind of break up the conga train on the inside, and he kind of ran the high side there through 1 and 2, trying to make something happen. But thus far, everybody's still running back to the bottoms. Maybe it didn't work for him, but it looks like John Delaney, he's not giving up on the race lead. He kind of ran a little bit higher through 3 and 4, absolutely just mutilating the back bumper of Hoffman heading into turn number 1, but still committing right to that bottom of the racetrack. You see Adam Benefield moving up, trying to get to the outside of Hutchison. That's going to be a battle for the 8th spot. So some of these guys in the back starting to get a little antsy, changing lanes. And look at Benefield going high, going low. Bob Zirunkle 2 positions in 2 sets of corners.
Yeah, he's up under Jim Schofield's getting under there and following Alex Murray here to the front. Benefield's definitely on the move. Team Conti is pretty confident about the stuff they have, and they brought it here and rolled it off the hauler this weekend. So I'm expecting to see him. I'm expecting to see Dustin Hall up here after a moment. We've already mentioned him. He's on that great run, right? He won Auto Club last year, defended his auto win from 2022. He then went out and won the D2 race, so he's having a pretty good weekend. I'd expect to see all those guys up there as we have Alex Murray on top. Looks like Benefield's looking under him now, right behind Boyd Hogan as they're trying to move up in the field here to the top 4.
Yeah, exactly that, as we hit 20 laps to go in the stage. And again, there's differences, guys, between last night and tonight. At this point last night, as you can see some wiggling going on by a couple guys there on screen. Differences last night at this point in the run, because I think we are, what is it, maybe 20 laps, 23 laps into this fuel stint right now since the caution. There was a lot more separation, but just akin to these guys in the series, as looks like Gitter and Hagen are having a battle. We are still on top of each other 20-25 laps around. Just shows how tight this series really is.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. And years past, I've been able to qualify in on speed, and this year it's not the case. As you can see, these guys are really racing side by side here with about 20 laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, we got some action. We got Ralph Hutchison, who is back in the pack, guys. He's back there running, I don't know, what is it, about 8th place. He just got around Bobby Anderson and is looking to get back up to the front. So he led a good portion of the first part of this race.
Look at Hagen up to the fence there off of 2. He's going to have that turbo surge. And someone to the inside on the back. Who's that? I saw somebody beeline to the inside on the back straightaway there on my camera, but I don't know what happened to him, so just kind of we'll ignore that thought for now. But up front, that battle going on between everybody right now. 2nd place, 1st place, side by side here, coming in, hitting the start-finish line.
Yeah, Clayton Hoffman he's all over the track. He's blocking high, he's blocking low, he's trying to hold that position. John Delaney is under Boyd Hogan, protecting his position. And Boyd's running. He's trying to get the momentum on the front stretch. Can he get Delaney? He's coming down the track to see if he can pull side by side as they draft 2 by 2 over the start finish line.
All the way running the Harry Gant line, inches off the fence, is that number 69. He has the utmost confidence. He's like, I've saved enough tire that I can run that line and I can be comfortable with it. And he's using it to his advantage here, and they're going to be door to door for that lead right now down the back straightaway. Still having some great action. You can see everybody starting to change their lanes here with 15 laps to go on the stage.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, with it being 25, 27 laps now here on this set of fuel run, tires are starting to come in at different times, and this is when the racing gets good.
Yeah, we're inching ever closer to that stage break, right? So you can see the intensity's ramping up again. We've had our pit stops and our free tires here, so everyone's got the fresh stuff as Boyd Hogan looks underneath Clayton Hoffman. I don't expect too much of a fight here. Those two are teammates on Legacy Esports, and yep, just like that, Clayton Hoffman lets him go, and Boyd Hogan will lead us to the start-finish line this time by.
Yep, as we close in on 14 laps in the stage now. Can't take anything too seriously yet because there's still plenty of time, and comers and goers. Adam Benefiel, he waits to the last second. He did it at Auto Club to win one of the stages, if memory serves. He came out of nowhere at the very end, and here he is. He's just putting it in overdrive right now, kind of slaloming around just in front of John Delaney. Now he's to the inside of Patrick Gitter, trying to get by as fast as he can because he doesn't want those top 3 to get too far ahead, because that just makes more of a challenge to try to get those stage points.
And something we've seen out of Adam many times is his ability to save at the beginning of the run and just shoot out of a cannon here at the end, and it's showing once again. Yeah,
coming in here, Adam definitely wanted to have a clean race, so he had a spotty race at the Auto Club, and him and Matt Long got 2 issues, so he definitely wanted to come in here and have the opposite of that. But actually had some issues starting the car when he got into the sim. I guess his auto's fire wasn't checked, so it's never a good sign. You can't start the car in practice. But looking good here is, again, they are racing here to the stage break on lap 68.
Hogging up by half a second here, so all of a sudden showing his pace. And then you have John Delaney dropping all the way back to 5th. RJ Root back in the top 10 right now. Look at Delaney here. He's running the fence now, so he's like, all right, well, I got beat on the fence, so let me go ahead and try it myself. He's going to try to see if he can get some momentum. He's going to get some momentum on Benefiel, and he's going to give Benefiel a shot in the tri-oval now. Benefiel's going to go to the bottom of the track, try to still make that pass on Gitter, but now Delaney is going to try to go and pin the 83 to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, John and Adam have some history in the past racing hard, and they know each other's capabilities, so they can lean on each other a little bit more and trust that the other won't make a mistake.
Yeah, they're very familiar with each other. Patrick Gitter, again, the rookie, so he's probably a little bit unknown, but again, he's been in pretty much every race here, so they're getting to learn him as well as a bump draft. Down in the 1-0, going 3 wide here is Delaney. Is he looking high? Nope. He's going to sit behind. Thought he was going to make the move there. Just a note, too, here, again, in pre-race, John Delaney said he wasn't feeling too well, had a little bit of a cold. He sounded a little nasally and stopped up, so we'll see if that affects him going into the race. Again, we do, these are 3-hour events, guys, and for all intents and purposes, right, these are essentially endurance event. So we'll see how he holds up as this racing keeps intense like this. If he can
All right, 10 to go.
maintain stamina.
But sometimes being sick has caused some of the best performances. I mean, go to basketball. Michael Jordan, I think it was
Caution.
Jazz, as caution is
Broussard.
out. John Broussard in that number 53 machine. He is doing donuts on the front straightaway, but not the kind that he wants to do at this point in the race. Replay queuing up. Let's see, he is on the bottom of your screen, and
was there
looks
contact?
like he came down on somebody here. Let me try to get
24.
a. Looks like he came across the nose of the 24. It does appear. 24, Sean O'Brien Jr. I don't know if he just got loose or if he didn't know that O'Brien had enough real estate there, but it was a modest size impact to the rear of his car. I think O'Brien should be okay. Those were kind of light impacts to his number 24 machine, but we'll see what Broussard has left in his tank after that.
Hashtag tank season. It looks like he either got loose or just didn't know that Sean was underneath him, but yeah, not too much damage. They just did some donuts, brushed the wall a little bit, so they should be okay. Got a big decision here though coming up, guys. We're 10 out from the stage break. This is the perfect time to try some strategery. I would be watching that 41 car, Jason Jedi Strategery Taylor, who loves these kind of situations, who will come down and maybe try to set up the next stage and get that track position. So as they come now, let's watch and see who comes, takes the tires, and who stays out.
He did it last night, and he put himself in a precarious position with the tires. And what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? He is going to come in, and he's going to have a fair amount of company in that battle. So these guys will sacrifice the stage points, and they will give themselves a stage position for stage 2. They're just going to have 7 laps to. Well, I guess in this situation, guys, you almost want to keep the stickers on the tires for these next 5 laps of green flag racing that we'll inevitably have. You really don't want to try too hard because you're gonna get the spots for free. There's really not much of a point to push hard once we go back green.
Yeah, and this first 7 laps of this stage, if they've been saving tires at the start of a run with new tires, they're going to do it again here. I know last night we kind of saw the same strategy play out in between stages 1 and 2, where there was, or 2 and 3, where there was a caution with about 8 to go, and in the end, it benefited the guys who stayed out. I believe Damaris was one of them that actually stayed out.
Yes, sir, I was. That was exactly my play there. And yeah, and to your point, what you're saying, Corey and Cody, if you came down to take tires for these next 7-6 laps, you've thrown in the white flag. You're going to ride around. You're going to preserve these tires as much as you can. You're going to be coasting into 1, 2, 3. You're not racing for stage points. You can't be too careful, right? You want to maintain the position that you have. If the opportunity arises that you can pick up a couple other spots, hey, great, because that's more, you'll be up towards the front once we cycle out here for the stage break. But yeah, you're definitely, you've waving the white flag. Your crew chief has made the call. We're taking it easy. We're protecting our equipment because we got the stage 2 on our sights.
Looks like the top 23 drivers have stayed out, and they'll be on those 37-lap old tires. So, guys, you were both on track last night. What's the wheel spin situation we're going to be expecting? What are we going to be expecting with heat cycled 38-lap old tires here for a 4-lap shootout?
I know last night, right about at the end of the stage, there was a lot of wheel spin. We actually saw a checkup on one of them because there was so much wheel spin where fifth had to pull out and try to make a pass just not to run into the back of somebody else.
Yeah, I guess it's going to depend on what setup you ran here, right? So unlike the Cup Series, I think right now iRacing, you still can determine your own rear end that you put in the car, right? What gear you're going to run. So we got 5 gears in the sequential shift in the sequential gearbox here in iRacing. So it depends on how low you set that ratio for the first gear. Me personally, I could restart in first, and it was pretty stable. But again, if you've been aggressive, on your gear ratio to get that start, you're going to have to watch out because look, the tires are going to be worn, it's going to be slick, and you don't want to. You check guys up, bad things can happen around that start finish line.
Exactly the case here. So we will wait and see if the lights do go off on the Mustang pace car. That is affirmative here. So we'll get doubled up, stacked up, and ready for what should be a very chaotic end to stage number 1. And Also, a little interesting tidbit, guys. I'm sure you guys read it in the release notes. iRacing had some serious modifications done to the Geico restart zone. So who knows? Maybe we'll actually get to enable those because we've seen how many glitches there have been. So maybe those will be usable for us next season.
Yeah, we sure hope so. They're very, very glitchy in the preseason, particularly bad at the Coliseum, at Iowa, and some of the preseason tracks. So hopefully they get on top of that, right? It is not an easy job to code the sensitivity and all that, but yeah, hopefully we get it worked out so we can get back to restart zones here. It's definitely an exciting part of what we do here at Stage Racing.
Indeed, hear the case, and of course Geico on the wall. They want to get their feature out there and the name on that working properly. But Boyd Hagen. If anybody in chat is friends with Boyd, can you spell out the actual enunciation of his name? Is it Hagen, Hogan? Is there a makeshift I or Y in it? Please let us know because we just want to get this situated and see who wins. But coming off turn number 4 here, getting ready for the 4 or 5 laps to go. I can't remember which one to finish out the stage. That will conclude on lap 80. And 69 will get on that accelerator pedal. Green flag in the air. No wheel spin, really. Nice, smooth, methodical restart. Not what we expected, but glad to see it at turn number 1.
Yeah, and behind him, he doesn't want to look in his mirror. They're racing 2 and 3 wide right now towards the back of the pack, trying to get every position and try to get one of those stage points.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get a camera on the back of the pack, Carlos, here, but you can see those fresh tires. They're not listening to me because they are working through the field. I saw 3 wide. I saw nearly 4 wide for a second, guys, going to the top of the track and trying to see what they can get. See 3 wide right here on screen on the bottom of your display right now, but at least for up front, we do have a battle for the stage win now. 92 of Hoffman to the inside. 69 is going to rock the top. Gitter trying to figure out which line to follow.
Yeah, he's trying to make it 3 wide here as they go down the backstretch, heading into turn number 3. Boyd Hagen still, or Hagen, again, we're going to get some clarification on that. Still leading them. He's on the top side now with Gitter and Clayton Hoffman. You know, this might be some teamwork here, guys, because again, Clayton and Boyd are on the same team, and they might be protecting against Gitter and forcing him where they don't want him to be to keep him off that optimum line. Delaney goes under Benefield in turn 1 here for the 4th position, so he's looking to move up and fight for the stage win as well.
This is 3 laps to go. Right on that hot spot is Cam Stone in the 57. He is in a intense battle with a few guys, Schofield, Paget, Murray and company. That's for the last stage point. And we're coming to 3 miles to go in the stage. So far on the green, we've got it under wrap so far. These guys doing a great job of driving. Looks like Delaney's going to move on to that 3rd spot. He's using that high side to get around Hoffman, who had a brief moment of thunder, but now is starting to dissipate back through the field. That outside lane starting to come in here, boys.
Yeah, it seems like some of these guys may have been saving some tire there towards the end, and now it's coming back to pay for them.
Oh, Jim Schofield jumped way down there on the backstretch, trying to make it 3 wide, going into contact with, is that RJ Root and Bobby Anderson, I think, coming off of turn 4. Now Jason Baker's going to go underneath them in the 7th position.
Last lap.
And he's going to get them both as he goes into turn 1.
This is the white flag for the stage. Fresh tires. We said don't bother trying because you're getting them spots for free. Well, tell that to Jim Schofield. He's trying to get everything he can. He's up to 4th spot. Maybe if he has an absolute yeet 3 and 4, he can get himself a stage win. I think he's going to go for it. But here comes Delaney. Delaney's going for the stage win as well. He's going to go door to door with Hagen. They're going to have a side-by-side battle drag race. Maybe 3 wide with Schofield.
Look at Schofield.
Let's see what the telemetry gives us now. Delaney, Hagen, Baker, and Schofield, I believe. But maybe we can get a replay of that because I'll tell you, that 47, we'll use the Mario Kart analogy. He had the bullet bill engaged there for those last few laps.
Yeah, he was getting up there in a hurry, man. He was moving coming off turn 4.
I think Carlos is working on a replay for us right here. This is slow-mo cam right there. You can see Delaney, Hagen, and then Schofield with the 3rd there. So great bit of driving, and it looks like Jason Baker in that 51, he will circumvent back to that 4th spot. So how much life did they take off there of those tires, guys? 9 laps, surging from 25th to the lead, or close enough to it.
Less than 9 laps.
How much Dr. Feelgood is taking off those Goodyears?
A lot. think you're going to see him come down to pit with the rest of them now, especially after just how hard he had to push those last couple laps.
Where
if
was
you're fighting
he?
hard, you do have enough tires to, I mean, to short pit like that and only run 10 laps. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. 1 or 2 more times in this race, but you definitely should have a couple extra sets. You could wiggle room there. Guys like Trevor C, Ryan, and Kevin Steele back
Bang
then.
out.
17th, 18th, 19th. They as they're all coming. Oh, we got some guys staying out here. Looks like that's Van der Sant. I couldn't tell us who else stayed out there.
Schofield.
Looks like Wayne Grass. He's staying out in the Pennzoil ride. Can't miss that bright yellow machine. Dustin Hall, 96 machine of Van der Sant, I believe, staying out as well.
And this is why I'm not a crew chief, Corey. This is why I'm better up in the booth, because I am 95% of the times wrong.
This is why I just don't drive, period, because it doesn't work for me at all anymore. So I stay in the booth and watch you guys do it, because I can barely run a 67 lap truck race and not screw up the strategy, let alone a full distance race. So total props to everybody in this series and all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, the danger men up here staying out as far as pace wise. Obviously, you're gonna look at Schofield, right? He definitely had the pace going to that stage break, but Dustin Hall's out here staying out too. So again, he's on a hot streak here. Showed he's at the pace here in Division 2, so he's another one I'm going to watch. And it makes sense for the rest of these guys to try to get that track position. Van der Sant's been mired in the midfield, the back of the pack. So I get why he's out here. He's got, Apex Racing is also out here. So you got Jason Jedi Strategery Taylor, followed by his teammate there in the 24. Still weird seeing Shawnee OB in the 24. I mean, that's forever going to be a Kevin Steele paint, but slowly getting used to that.
Ralph Hutchison being in the 8, throwing me off as well, but and Kyle Busch going to the 8. That's still getting a lot of us used to it as well. So new season, new sponsors, new teams, new manufacturers. So all the stuff, by the time we get to Richmond or so in a couple months, we'll totally forget about all this, right? Maybe.
No.
Probably. I don't know, man. Got some good juju on that 8 car, the way that Kyle Busch and Rich Children Racing is driving that thing. So maybe Legacy Esports and Ralph can capitalize on that and maybe get some good vibes from the universe and get some of that their way.
So far, that 8 machine in the real world, as you don't want to say surprised anybody, because obviously what Kyle Busch is capable of doing, but we didn't know if the team was capable of doing what Kyle Busch is capable of doing. Well, clearly those answers have already, been answered, as that's poor English on my part. But carries over into the real world too. I mean, into the sim world too. I mean, you guys have these guys on different teams. Talking to different people, working with different setup guys, and even though it is all the same physics and stuff, you do have to learn how to work with different people in some circumstances. With guys that do change things around.
Yeah, it's actually a huge part of the series, right? Is, we put 40 cars on the track, but, you got upwards of 55, 60 cars that are trying to qual in every week. So for some of those guys that just aren't, turns out they're not regulars, right? Maybe they're at, every third race or so. So learning who you're racing is a huge part of the series as well. Again, these guys they do a phenomenal job, man. I mean, we have 400 and 500 miles at a time to learn each other. They definitely take advantage of that, show patience. But that's just the requirement. If you want to get to the end, you want to get a good finish, you can't ignore who's in front of you, who's behind you, and who's on your inside, outside.
Yeah, and especially with the whole driver switch, me going through leaving the team I was with for 3 years and then moving over to a different team this year. It's been a learning curve, learning everybody's attitude towards stuff, and I'm sure, as most drivers are, excited to see what the future holds with their new teams.
Exactly that. Obviously, everyone wants to have a better chance of getting those race victories, head into the playoffs, and see if they can make sure Delaney doesn't go win back-to-back titles here. But we got a lot of racing only on race number 3 of a 36 race campaign, and some difficult tracks headed up here in the next few. And I think we got a road course before the end of the month, so we'll see how these guys shake out in these coming races. But let's get ready for stage number 2. We got another 80 or so laps to finish this one out before we head into the second half of the race. Now it's going to be Schofield and Baker on that front row. Of course, slightly older tires. on the first 2 rows, and that we'll see how that does blend in. Green flag in the air, and there goes Schofield on that accelerator pitter. Nice even start by everybody. No shenanigans, no gaps. Everybody had a nice smooth start there.
As they go down into turn 1, 2x2, looks like got some cloud cover getting over this track too, so that might affect track conditions. As we get going down here on the back stretch, we got all the usual suspects going down some 3 wide here in the mid pack. Looks like I'm looking at John Delaney trying to take it 3 wide under Jason S. Taylor. Yep, they're definitely 3 wide. Patrick Gitters now trying to take Carl Dotson on the outside, and they're racing out here as they come to the start-finish line. Second lap of the stage.
Yeah, get them while in front of you. Whoa, some contact there just a little bit further ahead. I saw some kind of falafeling around, for such a word, between, I think it was Taylor and Hall there, but luckily the netcode and life allowed us to continue in normal manner. But these guys trying to get them while they're hot, trying to get them while they're packed up. They know it's harder to pass later in the run. Looks like, who's that? Van de Sande in the purple and white car all the way to the top of the track. Not where you want to be on fresh tires right now.
No, absolutely. Corey. That top line and trying to run down these guys. It's going to be interesting to see what these tires do after 10, 15 laps for these guys that are just moving through the field.
69, not afraid of the fence. You know, we talked many a time. We'll continue talking about it till we're blue in the face. That outside lane is fast, but it is very, very abrasive on those tires. But 69 wants the spots, and he wants them now. And he's got by Dustin Hall, or he's working on them right now. And he sees those top 2 on the slightly older tires just in front of him, and sees some fresh blood and an opportunity to get a lead. And I think that's what he's doing right now. And that's Delaney right behind him, trying to give him a little push to get by Hall there. And just in the meanwhile, Wayne Grassy sees an opportunity for the lead. He's going to get to the inside of Baker. They're going to go door to door for that race lead.
Yeah, Wayne definitely looks like he has the pace on Baker, so he's trying to defend against that in front of all that stuff that's happening behind him. But they're not concerned with that, as Wayne Grassy's going to take him down into turn 1. I would expect him to probably clear him in. Oh, his Boyd Hawkins is going to try to take it 3 wide going into 1. He's going to try to get both of them here, guys, going to the backstretch. This is going to get tight coming off of turn 2. Baker clears them. Woo! Boy, that was close. So they go down. Grass is still defending on that bottom line there. It looks like Dustin Hall on those old tires is starting to lose a little bit of ground.
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you, that 69, he didn't run all the way to the top that time. That was Delaney who had that top groove wound up. But here he comes this time by. I think Hagen's going to go right up to the wall. Yes, he is. He's going to get, no, actually, he's going to kind of pinch him down there, run the middle groove. So trying a little bit different perspective there. And he's going to get a little bit better run. And he's going to do the massive crossover. And he's going to go right to the inside in 3. Does Baker have enough to hang on? Absolutely not. And then it goes Delaney rocking the fence.
Absolutely. Delaney's trying to get around both of them, just following Logan right to the front. And we got the 69 and the 6, 1-2 back again. Everything is right with the world as these two are back up front. Wayne Grass still working on Jason Baker as he's going underneath him. The 3 car, that Pennzoil, that iconic yellow Pennzoil car. I don't think I've ever seen Wayne change his paint scheme. Maybe once in this league. He's been here for maybe a few years. So they've single filed back out. So everything is kind of back to getting calm after that little energy burst we had there. And guys are settling into their run and trying to get to their second stage.
Everybody letting those tires kind of cool off, and for the most part, I think the fresh tires have persevered. We do still have 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They are on the older tires of about 20 or so laps, so they haven't quite dropped all the way off. They're kind of slowing off at a slow pace, but at some point they will sort of equalize out to the point where it's not going to be that bad. But right now, still want to have that nice rubber on there that those guys up front do have for the moment. But 69 has pulled away by about nearly 3/4 of a second. And I'll tell you, this is probably the most spread out things have gotten, knock on wood, thus far. Hutchison under fire there in that 12th spot right now from Schofield, a little bit further back on screen, but
they're stretched out up front, Corey, but they're getting after it here in the back. If you look back about 20, Brandon Pierce is trying to recover himself. He's racing Kyle Ammon. You got the 4 car. You got Sammy Bory back here. These guys are 2x2. They're trying to make up some ground, and they're still getting after it, trying to get to where those guys up front are, so they can get some of that clean air, get some of that less dirty air, save some tires, and get out of trouble. Because it's, when you're racing back here in the back, and Adam Benefield's back here with you too. You never know what's going to happen when you're in the field like that. As I say that now, of course, they start to single file out as well.
Something must have happened to Bobby Anderson in the Kellogg's ride, because he's back there in that 25th spot as well, and we saw him top 5, top 10 material earlier on. So Chris James, he's in there 23rd. He was involved in a wreck, but he had some serious speed last night. So guys back here, and we talked about Benefield, guys back there that don't really quote unquote belong back there. And RJ Root, he's back there, remember, fastest in practice. What's he doing back there in 26? So a lot of things to work out on, but look at that. Here they come. They settled back out, and now they're wound back up nearly 2-3 abreast, couple rows deep there for a brief moment.
Yeah, with these back of the pack guys right now, they're racing against some guys that they haven't seen, unless they're being lapped most of the times. I say that as a fellow back marker. But it's kind of gives you a chance to test your abilities around some of these guys.
Yeah, Cam Stone is he's on the move as well, so he's up here towards the front. So he's behind Jason Baker right now, and that again, it's just so weird to see that. Was that fighting Irish colored Coors Light? What's going on here? It's St. Patty's Day scheme, maybe. I don't know what's going on here, but he's definitely on the move here up in the front of the pack. As we got looks like that's the 82 on screen. That's also racing Benefield trying to get around him.
He got really loose off of 4 down to the apron there. Lost about 3-4 spots to Chris James there. So just getting himself recalibrated there and trying to get back at it.
Yeah, I believe the Coors Light car Cam is running is all natural Coors Light. Don't know. I thought most of it was natural with hops coming from the ground, but I've kind of been found not to ever be right, Corey, so take me at my word.
I mean, me and beer don't really get along anyway, so I'm not one to critique different varieties because I don't drink them anyways.
There's no shame here, Corey. If you're a cherry seltzer guy, hey man, we accept everybody. Whatever gets your buzz on.
Cherry, nah. Give me the Arnold Palmers or whiskey on a good day. I'm a little sissy like that, but. Of course, drink responsibly. This is I think this is tagged for kids. I'm not quite sure, but drink responsibly.
No, this is tagged for not kids.
Oh, it's tagged for not kids. So we're in the clear.
If we tag for kids, we have to go by a whole certain amount of rules.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with a good cherry seltzer. Let me just say that. Sorry, guys.
If I go to the bowling alley, the cheapest thing there is a White Claw. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
So,
but anyways,
I'm going to show here. This is what the all-natural Coors Light can looks like.
Stephen Hall is fighting with just Jason Baker here a little ways back as we got your Coors can on the scheme, so you can see what Cam Stone's car is based on. Pretty sure, I guess I haven't asked, but I think he does all his paints, right? That's usually Kevin Steele is doing all the. Oh heck, man! He paints about 80% of the league here. So if you see a paint you like, more often than not, it's probably Kevin Steele. That's the creator of that, putting it together for the guys and getting the scheme together. So we also have a little Sunday showcase on our Twitter page. So if you want to go give that a follow at 100 Cup Series, every Sunday we paste a Sunday showcase to show you some of the best paints the guys are running here in the league, and it's usually Kevin Steele's work. So go ahead and give that a shout.
Who's got that man smiling like that in the car? He's all happy. He's happy to be back with Apex, happy to be running a Ford in his Coors Light car.
Everything's looking up for Cam. He's got the car, he's got the position, he's got the speed, he's got Uncle Rob in the chat. Shout out to Uncle Rob. Everything's looking good for that 57 car right now.
You just said happy to drive a Ford. Again, we talked about things that just don't compute in my brain.
Hey now.
Hey, I guess I gotta be nice to the guy that pays me over here. So, Fords are nice. As long as they come with Benjamins. But we are past the century mark in tonight's efforts, guys. So a little bit past 150 miles out of the 400 on the docket for the evening. And talked many a time about Boyd Hoggett and his his line choice and his aggression early in the run, well, he's pulled by 2 2/3 seconds over John Delaney. So either he's doing something drastically right, or he's going to drop like a stone, no pun intended, in the very, very near future. So let's, you can flip a coin on which one it's going to be. But Delaney second, Cam Stone third, Jason Taylor fourth, Pat Gitter in fifth. That's our top 5. Running out our top 10, we have Dustin Hall, Jason Baker, Clayton Hoffman, Ralph Hutchison, and Wayne Grassi. Now, somebody who we haven't really talked too much about tonight, guys, that is typically having good runs in the series is Alex Murray. He's back there in 23rd. He has been lights out this season in both series, really, but he's stuck there in that bubble. Alex Russell stuck there in that bubble. So a lot of guys just haven't been able to get through the pack. Derek Heitman, he was awesome at Auto Club. He's stuck there in 24th. It's like you're either up front, kind of battling 1 or 2 cars, or you're in this pack and you're just literally stuck and just waiting for it to spread out so you can actually make some moves.
I've actually been watching Alex Murray, and it's interesting back here. So you got to account obviously for the draft, right? These guys are fighting pretty hard, as we see on screen right now. We got some hard racing with the 4-car here in Alex Murray. But some of these guys at the back, again, accounting for draft, I mean, they're up there running times with Boyd Hogan every few laps, right? So they're running on a good lap of 31.2, 31.3, and that's about what everyone is running, even way back here.
Got to censor the dash out.
Yeah. Sky Sports wasn't blurring out the wheels on the F1 call today, so I don't even know. Do you even call that a real series if you're not blurring the display, guys?
Don't look. You can see his RPMs. That'll tell you everything about his setup. The lap times that are generic, that are available to every single person with a smartphone. Don't show everybody.
Yeah, no, we need to start blurring these out so we don't get censored here, Corey.
I mean,
NASCAR may frown upon us, guys, as we got. I just want to give another shout out. I know we talked about him a little bit ago, but Cam Stone, man, showing some speed. Giving him shout outs a second ago, but he is, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting maybe to fall off here with the speed. But he's sticking it right here with Delaney, as obviously Boyd Hogan is stepping away from everybody, but him and Delaney are walking away from everybody else. So this 57 car might, he's won 2 races here in the past, I believe, here at Las Vegas in the series. So maybe be looking to get number 3 here.
He's now the biggest move of the race.
Yeah, as you just heard, he's moving through the field with ease, getting up to John for second, and he's going to be a force here. I believe his last win was at Daytona 2 of 2021, so he's hungry for that win, and I believe also he has a birthday coming up.
Carls, we need a camera around the 20th spot right now because we are going to have a wreck. It is just a matter of time. They are absolutely just, to quote Matt Malone, it is a gaggle lap after lap.
The tornado back here. Good call out there, Corey. They are all over the place. What is going on back here? Someone must be checking up this line or something. They're fanned all the way out.
Wayne Grassi, those old tires are, I think they've hit their expiration point because he is dropping all the way back and everybody's trying to get around him. We got guys going to the apron. We got 3 wide going on. And again, this is all about 18th through 25th or so, and they're using every inch of this Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
And speaking of, so in the chat, we got a couple of people rooting for Prodigy Esports. So we got Nolan Hodgson running in 29th. He's right behind, so he's in the danger zone behind this hornet's nest that's forming in front of him, the whole swarm of 3 and 4 wide that he's trying to work through. And obviously we've talked about Alex Murray being back here as well. So these guys are spacing all the way out here. I don't imagine you can keep this up for that long before an incident happens.
Just as a reference, I know Carlos has the technical abilities to it. If we could pull up our stints just so we can kind of get a scope of where we stand right now in the run.
Unfortunately, I broke the stints about a couple months ago, and I can't figure out how to fix it again.
Okay, I don't know if was that hot mic, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm hot mic.
Okay, so unfortunately we do not have the technology for stints, but I can give you the back-end data because I have it. We're 30 left for the most part. We're 30 laps into the run. A couple stragglers are, Dustin Hall, Grassi, Baker, they are 40 laps in. So right around that halfway point. Remember, we're going to lap 160 or 65, one of the two, more or less the same thing. So right at that point, the fuel window is open, tire window is open. Now these guys can start making that decision. Do I think it's going to go green on the stage? And, do I split it? Do I run it dry? All these questions are going to be answered in the near future.
Yeah, you don't want me or DeMars to answer that because we'll say run it dry.
Well, that's because that's the right answer, Cody. That's what you want to do is...
Well, let's be fair. The back marker answer typically is run it dry, pray for a caution, get track position when everybody's a lap down. That is the generic back marker answer. It's not the guys who run up front answer. I mean, is it a burn or is it the truth?
A little bit of both. But yeah, absolutely. With being in towards the back, you always hope to kind of get that caution at a perfect time. I mean, I think it works for me almost 85 out of 100 times. So it's definitely worth an option.
All the while,
I think all seriousness, I think that you're right. But the back marker, you want to stay out. You got to gamble a little bit. Most tracks and most situations, you're going to want to try to split. It's usually your optimum lap time, right? If you're just looking at the stopwatch, but obviously we don't race a stopwatch. You're racing against guys, so it depends on what your competition is doing. So you got to be able to read. It helps to have someone on the box to actually guide you and let you know what people are in the race doing. But for guys like me and Cody, I think we're usually in there by ourselves, and you gotta do all that math on the fly.
Yes, in the chat, Corey calling his co-hosts back markers. I didn't call them back markers. They called themselves it, and I just piggybacked off of it. So that makes it okay. All the while, though, we talked about it, and it's finally happening. I said, is Boyd Hogan, is he going to lose his lead? And the answer to that is yes. It was 2.5 seconds at its peak. It is now down to 1.5 seconds. And Delaney is quickly eating into that gap, which, when you're losing your lead, your pit window's open, that answers another question. Do I consider that? Do I pit as soon as I get past? Do I pit while I'm still leading? All these kind of things going through people's brain right now. Cam Stone, he's only 2.25 seconds back. He's not too far back. So definitely that shot out of a cannon run by the 69 slowly starting to deteriorate for him as the run progresses.
Yeah, that's what makes this series great, right? Is the long run. Again, you just don't get this experience in iRacing the official series. Most leagues run a shorter race distance. So no matter how fast, I can't tell you how many guys, and Cody can attest this, how many guys rock up to this series because they have pace. We got former Pete guys, former Coke guys, all these Monday night guys that roll up in here, and they're fast. They have the pace, but being fast on lap 20 isn't the same as being fast on lap 50.
I was just going to say, they don't win. That's the best part. I've covered some Coke guys in this series with you guys, and they don't win. So that just shows what you guys have for we were joking in our broadcast chat the other day that this is the no-life tribe. You got to be committed to do this on Saturday nights all night. And you guys got a ton of people trying to break down the door to get in this, and they're fast, they're clean, and they're committed, and they can battle the best of the best.
Yeah, and I think this
Huygen to pits. Now I'm saying Huygen. Hagen to the pits.
So, as you just mentioned with the fuel strategy, he saw his lead evaporating and was like, I'm going to pit now. Get that track position, because he lasted those tires, I want to say, about 40 laps. So if he can do that again this run, he'll win this stage single-handedly very easily.
He'll have about 1.5 seconds. If Delaney stays out this lap, he's automatically losing another 1.5 seconds. Every lap that he stays out, that 69 is gaining about 1 second to 1.5 seconds on Delaney that he is going to have to eat into if he's going to want to have a chance at that stage.
Yeah, the difference is there, obviously, Boyd's going to have to contend with some traffic. The traffic shouldn't be too hard to navigate because he's going to be on fresh tires, but it will be there. And we've seen those guys in the back, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. They're racing side by side and they're getting after it. I know we're spacing out here now, but that's the trade-off, right? Is how much do you want to risk with putting yourself back in that field versus how much do you want to give up under this undercut? And it looks like Delaney and both Stone are going to continue to run and and gamble that he's going to be running in some traffic, I bet.
Yeah, and just a few laps ago, they almost got the caution they needed. It looked like right around the start-finish line, cars were jockeying for positions.
Dustin Hall in the pits. Sorry to cut you off.
And a couple guys hit the wall and are coming down pit road. Jim Schofield was one of them.
Yep, Jim Schofield's down pit road. Ooh,
Benefiel as well.
There.
So looks like we are starting to populate the pits, but Delaney staying out yet another lap, and mainly
in the pits. Sammy Bory's in the pits.
Yep. So it's just a matter of hard on the binders. There was Hutchison there, locked him up, but hopefully kept it under the required limit. I think we saw 1 or 2 speeding penalties last night, if I was not mistaken.
Yep, as Dustin Hall comes off pit road, so he's gotten his tires and fuel in service, and he's coming back on the track here, followed by Adam Benefiel. So the teammates are sticking together here on the pit strategy.
Delaney, he's on lap number 41, so I mean he can go another 20 if he really, really wanted to. I don't think that'd be a wise decision to do so, but
it's too much time. It's too much time, Corey. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, your top competitors have already pitted, and now he very well could be 7-8 seconds back just off of staying out these extra few laps.
Yeah, and I guess Cody, we do this quite often, and there's a tipping point, there's a commit line, right? That once you stay out, if you're gonna,
here he comes.
If you're not gonna react, yep, Delaney down the pit road. If you're not gonna react to that undercut in the first few laps, and Stone, look, he's following as well. If you're not gonna react to that undercut right away, there's a point where like it makes no sense. You might as well ride it out and hope for that caution. You gotta just lay in the bed you made.
Yeah, absolutely, Damaris. And a big thing I also just thought about was I'm wondering if Jonathan Delaney and Cameron Stone stayed out a little bit longer that time, so that way towards the end of this run they'll have fresher tires than Boyd and potentially gain a spot on him.
That's just going to be a matter of being the chaser versus the chasee. But to the point you guys just had, one of the toughest things for me as a driver is when you are on an alternate strategy and you see everybody else pitting and you see those fresh tires zooming around you. It is so hard to stay to your plan and not just audible off of instinct and actually staying to what you want to do. So whether he chose to, maybe he wanted to stay out 5 or 10 more laps and he just couldn't, just because he saw that he was just getting his doors blown off.
Yeah, it looks like we got Alexander Russell in 27. He's coming down pit road. Kevin Steele's calling out as well. He's going to be coming down pit road this time. Trevor C. Ryan's now committing to pit road. So we got a few more of this. We're well deep into the cycle here. I thought I was watching Wayne Grassi for a second. I thought I saw him struggling.
Oh, a lot of smoke. Someone sideways there on pit entry. A lot of smoke.
Shenanigans.
Trying to see who that was.
It was Kevin Steele.
Kevin Steele putting on a show. He's in the grass here on the front straightaway. Not ideal at all. Replay on screen right now. See, there's a lot of smoke in front, but not the donuts you want. I mean, that's the kind of the Matt Kenseth.
No, there was somebody else.
Kenseth donuts there, but not. There was a couple cars in front of him, but yeah, he missed the commitment cone, I do believe.
The 04.
04 of that's Andrew Dyson. Had that issue, but yeah, Vegas. I talked about this last night on the Division 2 broadcast. This is one of the tougher pit roads. I mean, it's not a Darlington tough or even a Homestead tough, but this is one of the tougher pit roads to get onto on the calendar.
It's tough with speed, right? You can get on there pretty safely, but you're gonna lose a lot of time if you wanna be on the gun and not lose a lot of time. And that's why I was looking at there is that with that transition of getting off and you got to time your downshifts right. It's a whole ballet to get on this pit road. And like you said, it can be difficult when you're trying to preserve, minimize that pit road, that total pit road time. If you want to take it easy, you can always hit the apron before turn 3, but you lose a ton of time doing that. And you're not going to see a lot of guys doing that in this series.
I tell you, they made this pit road about 100 times easier when they reconfigured it. Because when this track was a flat, 12-degree bank track, that pit road was straight. It was not curved, and I'll tell you, this was the hardest pit road to get onto in racing. They made it a lot easier in 2007, but Clayton Hoffman still has stayed on the track, and I'll tell you, Jason Taylor in the 41, I know you say that S stands for strategy. Well, he's running his car dry because he's on lap number 59 on his run now as Hoffman breaks to the pits.
Yep.
Hoffman locked him up on the entry there, but Taylor's got to be basically running on fumes right now in that 41, but he is looks like he's going to run it until there ain't no fumes left.
Which is the right call. But at the same point, as we can see, some other guys who we haven't seen up in the top 5 yet today, Jeffrey Souza, Dalton Mobley, and Alex Princeton, are all up there in the top 5, but with having to come to pit soon, their strategy call may be here, like I mentioned, stay out long and have fresh tires at the end, maybe pick off a spot or two.
Yeah, Jeffrey Souza is interesting. He was in that first stage was well behind the pack. He's actually subbing for Devin Medeiros in that 20 car, so he's not in his typical number you'd see him in. But he seems like he's been struggling this far this race, so I guess it makes sense that he gamble a little bit, as we also have more pit road activity that I want to let you guys know about. Mark Paget and Wayne Grass have stopped, and they're coming back on the track into turn 1 here.
Also of note, guys, just to kind of summarize our pit road situation, we have the 69. He is currently entering, he's in the middle of 3 and 4 right now. John Delaney is just exiting turn 2. So that is a distance of, let me pull up my telemetry, 9.5 seconds that the 69 has on Delaney because of that pit strategy. Can Delaney gain 9.5 seconds in, what do we got, 31 laps? That is going to be the question.
Yeah, I've seen John do some pretty incredible stuff. I think 10 seconds may be a little too large, but again, why me and Damaris are up in the booth and not out on the track today.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I'm running pretty good here at Vegas. I'd love to be out there in the track, but, duty calls. So, here we are as we have on screen there Jason S. Taylor still on track. I haven't heard any call out from him, so he's still intending to run here.
This is 63.
I did hear Carl Dodson call out.
This is his lap 63 on his current stint. So I know we had a 1 or 2 cautions in there, so he is definitely hypermiling that fuel number for us for sure.
Yeah, and with the fuel run being at lap 63 of a run, it's just impressive that he's still able to stay out there like he is. 63 laps on any set of tires. You're starting to feel every little bump in the track.
I think I just heard Carl Dodson say he just ran 90 laps on a set of tires. Did he not? Guess he didn't take tires at stage break. Also here in the 77 is coming down pit road, so he's on those last of the pitters that are on that long strategy. So we're still waiting on Jeffrey Souza in the 20 and Jason S. Taylor, I believe, to come down pit road. So, I mean, whatever they're doing, guys, they're definitely committed to it.
And just as a reference, that 9.5 seconds already down to 8.3 between the 69 and the 6. So I think he might get there, but we all know tires do equilibrate, if that's even a word, at some point. So we'll follow and see what happens. But currently 137 will be 27, 28 laps, something like that. 165 is the stage. Do math, figure it out, because I can't do it. That's going to be towards the end of stage 2 right now. Jeffrey Souza in our provisional lead right now. He is getting surpassed by the 69. So that strategy for the 20 did not work for him. He's going to be multiple laps down by the time his pit cycle completes itself. And now it's just going to be a matter of Chase Surveys versus Chase C to see who's going to be this stage victor.
I fixed it.
Speaking of multiple laps down, Kevin Steele, who had that issue getting on pit road and may have had some contact and missed the commitment code, had to go all the way around. Looks like he's already a couple laps down, and he's about to go another lap down here or not a lap down, but Delaney's about to get around him here in a second and third place. So unfortunate for the 7. Hopefully he can keep it clean and get some of these laps back and catch some cautions to get back in contention. It's always a good thing to see the 7 car win good here in this league.
And we've caught some sunshine here just to kind of throw another wrench into things, starting to heat up the track again and, just throw a wrench into the handling that these guys have been used to for about 30, 40 laps of cloud cover. Looks like mainly the front stretch and 1 and 2. It looks like 3 and 4 is still predominantly under shade, but, that's just the dynamics of the racing, which always makes it good. Half of the track will drive one way, half of the track will drive another, just depending on the sunshine and the heat.
Yeah, and I know something that went into the setup building this week was this track is, I don't want to say like Darlington because it's nowhere close to what Darlington is, but at the same point, the setup builders were building the track for one side or the other, just for the fact that 1 and 2 drive completely different than 3 and 4.
I know 1 and 2 is also known here at Las Vegas for those billboards. Those billboards will provide, automatic shade regardless of sunshine, which will kind of make the top work even better in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is known to be more just wide, more open and hotter, more slick, and you'll see kind of more one-line racing. But we've already been proved that's incorrect. So definitely these sides of the track driving differently here as we are on board with insert car here. The leader didn't have the little statistic up there, but yeah, up 69 up front, and our Delaney gap now down to 5.5 seconds. So remember, started off at 9. It's already halfway in 25 laps. So just do the math. I think he's going to get there.
Well, that can be misleading. Boyd he's been in and out of traffic. I think Delaney has pretty much had a fairly clean. He's come across lappers here and there, but so Boyd's kind of riding behind this pack of.
Trying to make drama, man. Trying to make drama.
He's gonna. Oh, we're gonna get that drama. I mean, he's gonna have to get around the lap car, and you're gonna have plenty of drama of him trying to slice and dice between these cars.
TNT, we know drama. Just need some Metallica fuel, for our theme song, but I don't think we have the copyright provisions for that.
Yeah, you don't want me thinking that either. So
I could, but I already get chastised enough for my puns. You don't need my singing. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Boom. And then we need BP with Thunder Motion that I did at Talladega last year. So we can't wait all the way till Darlington. We got to do another early season throwback race so I can have some fun with it.
We do have a little bit of action on the track. So we got 4th and 5th that are back to back. So Benefield and Patrick Gitter are here racing. So Gitter just got around Adam Benefield out of turn 4 as they go across the start finish.
Gitter getting it done.
All right, Corey.
Looks like Adam has some words for him too there. I couldn't quite make out what he said on the radio there. Although Adam is a jokester, you never know when he's just playing with guys and doing what he does. Oh, and I hear the 20 Jeffrey Souza's finally calling out he's pitting, so he's going to be coming down pit road here shortly.
Lap 62 for Souza, so he's going to lose. Probably he was 3rd, but he's going to relegate to at least a lap and a half down. I think the pit road laid time here from cone to cone is about 40 seconds that you lose, and then you're going to lose a little bit more on your out lap. So probably going to end up at least a lap and a half, maybe almost 2 laps down by the time that ends out. So strategy call didn't work out for him, but got himself some TV time, so that's worth enough.
Yeah, and as we're speaking, we do have somebody in the infield care center. Jim Schofield has gone to the infield care center. Jim, this is Cody up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
All right, so walk us through what happened on that wreck.
I guess whoever was a couple cars ahead of me called out that he was going to pit, and then it looked like the 27 ran into him a couple times and shot up the track, hit me, and knocked me in the wall, and that's pretty much all she wrote.
That's unfortunate to see, and so we saw in the first stage your pit strategy get you all the way to the front. What happened? What was your decision making there?
So for a little while, I was kind of regretting not pitting, but actually right before that, my tires were starting to come back a little bit, kind of evened out with the people around me. I knew I was going to fall back, so I decided just to kind of drop back, and wherever I, kind of evened out, it would happen. And then, so I started making some time up, especially up top, just trying to kind of reel people in, stay around that P20 spot, and then that accident happened about 5 laps before I was going to pit.
That's a shame to see. So hopefully next week we're talking to you up on the podium and in a better situation.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, it's I got a question for you. It's DeMars up in the booth here, Jim. So obviously you came here tonight. You're leading the rookie points, right? We spoke a little bit earlier. You were obviously looking for a good finish to come out here tonight. But are you going to bring it back on track to try to maximize what you can do here, or are you done for the night?
I feel like I'm done for the night. I had about 10 minutes of required repairs and then another about 6 minutes of optional repairs. So by that point, I'm already going to be about 25, 30 laps down.
Yep, definitely a tough evening. Well, appreciate you stopping by. Good to see that you're okay there in the virtual infield care center. As Cody said, hopefully next week then we're talking to you on the different circumstances.
I appreciate it. We're definitely going to keep working on the setups and keep bringing speed, and over time it'll all play itself out and work out for us, I'm sure.
All right, thanks for stopping by. Jim Sofield in the infield care center. Not the night he wanted, guys. The pit road madness got caught up in an accident, and his night's over.
And guys, we have a very difficult next month and a half, really, when it comes to the schedule right now, because we're headed to Phoenix, a difficult track next week. Atlanta, it's gonna be the wild card. We head down to Texas into the not Texas Motor Speedway. We head to Dakota, Richmond, Bristol, Martinsville. So we're really heading down into some really difficult tracks, showing these drivers skill, but also a lot of these tracks to get yourself in somebody else's mess. So, and caution on the speedway. Jason Baker, 51 machine, backwards, I believe on the front straightaway.
And it looks like the flying, what did you call him, Damaris? The flying Frenchman?
Yeah, it looks like Sammy Bory. I can't tell from the angle. Looks like Baker came up into him and just got turned up on the wall. Yeah,
we've seen that same wreck about 10 times in the last 2 days. Turn 4 is just a matter of, did I not give you enough room, or did you take too much from me?
Is he French? He's got the Argentinian flag.
Well, he's in France and he speaks French, so I'm gonna go with French. Oh, has he just got the flag reversed? Isn't Argentina just the same?
No.
Oh, don't want to play geography here. I'm not. I am American, guys, so take it easy on me. North Carolina public education system.
Now, if I had to throw, I'm going to say that it looked to me, and again, I don't race, so I can be unbiased and just call it like it is. I think that based on the trajectory of Biuri off of 4 there, I think he was running a lot tighter of a line than the 51 was expecting. I think the 51 expected him to wash up a little bit more, but again, that's just all stuff you got to deal with. And on older tires, you're just going to be tight. But we're at that same position that we were in stage 1, guys. We got, roughly 10 laps to the stage. Do you want the position now, or do you want it in 10 laps? Looks like we have about, I'd say, 8 or 9 guys who bit to pit road, and they're going to set themselves up for that stage situation again.
Yeah. Saw him work with Jim Schofield there for a while. Unfortunately, where we just saw him was not as fun as watching him race to the front. But it's going to be interesting because John was catching him at the end of that stage, and I'm sure Boyd wanted it to stay green. But now we got a caution, and it's going to change this whole makeup up.
But it will put a heat cycle on Delaney's tires, which is usually an equalizer. When you have tires about within 10 laps age of yours, it takes one heat cycle and they'll still be better, but they're not going to be, breathtakingly better. So he may be able to hang on, and, depending how the draft works with guys behind him, could be an interesting situation. Campstone is going to be right there behind Boygan on that inside lane. We know it's easier to stay on the leader's tail from the inside than it is the outside, but you got hungry Adam Benefield, who's going to be rolling off in P4, and he's going to make sure Delaney gets going if he has any way to control it.
Yeah, if you look a little further back though, Corey, look who it is that's is at the top 10 now. Alex Murray in the 22, who seems to be a big winner of that pit cycle, is now in 9th place. So he's made his way from the back where he was racing for his life in 29th, and now he's running 9th. So I'd keep my eye on that 22 car along with that 57. We know the 8. Ralph Hutchinson has speed. He always does. Looking for that elusive first win in her 100% Cup Series is Ralph. So a few guys to watch here on this restart as we are going to dash to the end of the stage.
Exactly that. So I do want to welcome everybody to the broadcast. Looking here at the numbers, we have one of the largest live fields I think I've seen in quite a while on these streams. So I'm sure you'll like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If it's your first time, check it out, the 100% Cup Series and all the other content here on 3 Wide TV. So just show the love, helps everybody out, and doesn't take too much work to do so. But White's still on that pace car, and I think they'll go out next time by. So just as a kind of a general scope of what we're going to have going on, we're going to have a stage on lap 165. We'll have about a 9-lap dash. Our fresh tires are going to start in the 19th position, rather the 20th position, with Alex Van de Sant. He was the first one to make a pit stop. So you're going to see guys 20th on back trying to fight their behinds off to get into the top 10. And based on what we saw that first stage, it's possible to do so.
Yeah, and something else to think now too. We're seeing the same cast of characters in the top 5 that we saw at the last one. We'll see if they played any differently, seeing what happened under that last stage.
Yeah, we're getting ready to come to green. You know, one person I am a little surprised at is Bobby Anderson, who again is typically had speed everywhere we go. He's a little further back now in that 22nd, 23rd position there. So we're actually running 21st right now in the line. So Dustin Hall looks like he's back there as well. So, but yeah, you got the usual suspects as we've been seeing up at the front, the Boyd Hogans and the Ralph. So let's see what they do coming here to the restart.
Coming down that Nellis back straightaway at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for what will be a 8-lap dash to conclude stage 2 of the High Roller 400 for the 100% Cup Series live here on a 3-wide TV. New tires back in 20th, old tires top 19. So let's see how this all shakes out and who's going to get those very important stage points. That iRacing Mustang going to take that hard left into the safety of pit lane. We're going to head very near that Geico restart zone and wait and see when Boyd Haga decides to get on that accelerator. He'll do so just now. Delaney gets a little bit of wheel spin there on the outside, but gets the push from Benefield, but Hagen's going to get the whole shot off into one.
Well, not a great start by Cam Stone. He left a little bit of room there to Boyd, and Delaney and Benefield are going to come down and clear him both. He's got Clayton Hoffman on his outside, and looks like Gitter is also trying to get him on the outside there, but he's got some support there. Jason Taylor is going to try to give him a shove down the back straight into turn 3 to go.
Side-by-side racing going on with that 92 machine of Hoffman to the outside. Stone, 92 slightly in the fence there. Benefield's going to take advantage, go to the inside, try to go inside of the 92, try to go to the inside of the 6 of Delaney, while the 69 wide tries to hang on. 3 wide, Stone in the middle. Who's that going to the top of the racetrack back there? That's Kyle Hammond, 25, trying to get it.
There are right now as people start trying to move up through.
Fresh tires in 14th right now. Alex Van de Sant on that outside in the purple and white machine. Look at him in the long shot here, but we do have that battle for the lead. 92 to the inside of the 69 machine, while Jason Taylor is going to take it 3 wide on top of Delaney and Benefield.
Yep, 3 wide they go.
Let's go 4. Let's go winner. 4.
They are. They're doing it. They're doing it. He defends on. Oh, whoa, contact. Jason's trying to push him down the back straight to clear everything out here. They get it under control. Ooh, that was a close situation, guys. But the big winner of that is Clayton Hoffman. He's going to pull away as these guys continue to fight behind them side by side. Boyd Huygen and John Delaney. And it looks like, is that Jason Taylor trying to go 3 wide again? He is going 3 wide on the apron and is going to take him down into 1.
Keep an eye on that purple and white machine on the top of the track. Van de Sant's first one on the fresh tires. He's going to go 3 wide on top of him, and he's going to go 3 wide on top of
Gitter closes the door.
Gitter's going to shut the door. 8th spot for Van de Sant here, but he has those tires, and he's going to try to go. We saw Schofield almost get the stage win on this strategy, and Van de Sant is ready and priming up to do exactly that as well. He's up to 6. Benefield, he's going to go to the top. He's going to use that magic mushroom, that bullet bill, and he's going to yeet it in turn 1 on that outside.
Ooh, big loser in all this, though, is Cam Stone is going backwards in a hurry as he's trying to defend on the top side. And they're going to go 4 wide back here with Cam Stone and Jeremy E. Miller. Oh, just squeezes by. Oh, back there for 11th. Woo, boy, these guys are going for it at the end of the stage here.
Yeah, they're not holding back now with 5 to go. And something to keep, like you mentioned, with Alex Van de Sant on these fresh tires, he's up to a position where Jim Schofield wasn't at this point. So you have to think he's the favorite here to get the stage.
Yeah, purple cars in the back making some speed. That's I think I saw, who is that? Jeremy Miller, I believe that is, in the 30 machine on the outside of the racetrack here. But Not sure if he's on the lead lap or not, but either way, he's making something happen up there on the outside of the racetrack.
We got to change for the lead, guys. Jason S. Taylor is on the outside going around Hoffman. He has the lead. Oh, it's going to be close.
Like two trailer park girls, there goes Van de Sant around that outside. He has the momentum off of 4, and new tires took the lead here in the stage with 4 laps to go.
They are really getting after this. And Jason S. Taylor has shown
Bobby Anderson.
Whoa, where did Bobby Anderson come from? What? He was just in 20. What is going on here?
Shades of Dale Earnhardt, Winston 500. Where did he come from? We were watching the purple and white, and all of a sudden Kellogg's pours a bowl of here cereal and gets himself a lead here. And Chris James.
Oh, he's bringing Chris James with him. Yeah, so shake up here at the front. We got Bobby Anderson in first, Chris James following him with Alex Van de Sant, and then Dustin Hall is coming through as well. So we must have some fresh tires cycling out through here, guys. As Wayne Grass is also, who's been running in the back, is up here as well. So we're flipping up the whole order here as we go to the end of the stage.
Yeah, Van de Sant just, they're all using their tires up, but Van de Sant just used a little bit too much of the feel good here, and it's already starting to fade off within a 10-lap stint here. But Bobby Anderson, we just talked about him maybe 15 minutes ago, just saying, wow, he hasn't really got through the field since the first 50 laps of the race. Well, uses the strategy, and he's about 3 laps from a stage. But Chris James and Dustin Hall, for that matter, they're going to have a little hat in the ring to play to try to change that up.
And I would have to thank you. Come out of 4, Bobby Anderson is going to take the stage win with James right behind him and Dustin Hall in 3rd.
Yep, and there's your stage caution.
There it is, lap 166. And again, we were just so focused on that 96 that through the jungle, through the hurricane, through the mess, somehow the Kellogg's ride got himself stage 2 here. And it puts them in a position, guys. I think there's enough tires on the wall that they're probably still going to want to pit. And, they probably, I would assume, still have 2 more sets to play with for these last 100 laps, at least.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in dangerous sets yet. We had a few cautions, but even if you took that, if you're in the back and you took that 10-lap stretch and came up from your tires, you still should have a couple sets in reserve. But that stage break there was Bobby Anderson in first. He had Chris James, Dustin Hall, Alex Van de Sant, Wayne Grass, Justin Taylor was in the running out 6, Clayton Hoffman, John Delaney, Adam Benefield, and Patrick Gitter, your 10th place car for that stage, unofficially.
So we'll wait and see if Anderson does come in the pits. If he doesn't, or after he does, we are definitely going to have to grab a word with him and ask how the hell he did that, because, again, caught all of us by surprise for sure. And he's teetering with the pits, and nope, he's not teetering. He's going for it into the safety of the pits for presumably 4 tires. Jeremy Miller, I did call him out. He was a lap down, but he is in lucky dog territory. So he will be able to take that to his benefit there. And Dalton Mobley may be set up for a waiver round along with Jeffrey Souza. Remember, he had that very different pit strategy.
Yeah, it looks like we got 5 cars here that are going to take the waiver round. So I think we're lapped up to about 28th or so at the end of that stage. So this guys definitely taking this opportunity to get their lap back, probably banking on the early caution so they don't lose too much time and go another lap down, which, again, as back marker gang, shout out to Dan in the chat, back marker strats, strategery in play.
All right, Anderson just left his stall, so we just we're going to queue him up here. Bobby, it's Corey and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. Got you.
We got one simple question for you. How the hell did you get up there that fast?
Chris and I pitted. My teammate, I was just saying, be patient. We got 9 laps, but our other teammate did that in stage 1. He just only had about 6 or 7 laps, but my heart's racing a little bit, but it was fun. I didn't die, so all good.
Follow-up question. Who do you think you are, Bobby Anderson?
I am speed.
Yeah, we had all eyes on Alex Van de Sant because he was leader of the Fresh Tire Tribe, and we saw him going for the lead. Then all of a sudden, quarter over our eye, we see that 5 going 3 wide, and almost like you kind of say you just had a little bit more yeet in there for those last few laps, man. So how you feeling for these last 100?
I'm feeling good. You know, we switched out the Tide Ride to the Kellogg's machine, a little Texas Terry Labonte power. So we'll see if we can do good here. We got some good guys here up front. It's going to be real competitive here in Stage 3. Should be a good show.
All right, man. Well, if they don't have anything else for you, we'll let you get back at it, and good luck for the remainder.
Thanks, guys.
And so we haven't taken any kind of break yet today, so just so we can rest our voice, grab a drink, we're going to step aside for about a lap and a half, and we'll be right back with you for the restart. So please, guys, stay with us.
Bye.
And we're back here getting ready for a restart for stage number 3. Everybody's on essentially even keel right now, except for RJ Root. He's out there on 17-lap old tires. Everybody else is on freshies, but he's going to have the control of that restart. On that loud pedal, green flag in the air, stage number 3 underway.
Yep, good start by the 45 there of Raymond Root, or RJ Root. Chris James behind him. You got Bobby Anderson still up there, Dustin Hall looking underneath him as they go 2x2 out of turn 2 into the backstretch, and we're all getting settled in here for stage 3, looking to see what these guys can do here. And we got some fresh faces up here in the front, going 3 wide again further back in turn 4. We got Jason S. Taylor back there, Dustin Hall ducking underneath Chris James going across the start-finish line.
Chris James in that 82. He's going to go to the outside, and he's going to go all the way to the outside, and he's probably going to get split here. Because remember, on these fresh tires, most of the time you want to be right there on that white line. So up top, typically not where you want to be first few laps, but he's going to try to hang tight and see what he can get. And it's that 5 of Anderson to his inside, and that 92 of Clayton Hoffman. He's sneaking the 3 wide there. Look at Delaney try to peek a 3 wide there off of 4. Tight quarters racing, pace lap formation here at start finish.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier with John Delaney and Boyd Hogan, they've been up front most of this race. They haven't really been back in traffic. This is their first opportunity to experience it. It'll be interesting to see how their cars drive after it.
Yeah, if you haven't been in the dirty air, it's definitely a different feel to the car, especially long run, right? It'll affect you as Clayton Hoffman is going around RJ Root on the outside. Looks like he's going to have the momentum to clear him down into the apron of 1, and Patrick Gitter's got to run as well. So those old tires, man, we've seen this time and again, guys. And we saw it in Division 2 last night. Ooh, I say last week. Man, you can hold some track position if you have short runs, and I'm talking 2-3 laps, but it is so hard when you have laps in your tires to stay up front for a long time. As Dustin Hall is starting to step away from these guys up front.
speaking of Dustin Hall, I mean, obviously he won last night, and then how did he win Auto Club? All of us rode off him at Auto Club last Saturday night. He stayed out, probably had 11, 12 laps older on his tires, and somehow short run, won himself the race. Is that going to happen tonight? Not quite sure, but the situation we do have on our hands right now, guys, is for the first time really since the opening stage, everybody up front, less 45, is on fresh tires. We don't have 10 laps here, 5 laps there, 3 laps there. Everybody is in that position. So those guys like Delaney or Hagen that are back there, 4th, 5th, 6th, they're going to have to beat guys on pure speed. They don't have a tire advantage to lean back on this time.
Yeah, and losing that tire advantage can come into play a lot. Last night we saw a caution happen with 25 laps to go, and some people had fresh tires, were able to take it that set and run down the people who were on old tires on a restart. Also, going back to Dustin Hall, he seems rejuvenated this year. Obviously winning last week at Auto Club and then last night at
here.
Las Vegas. Thank you. Jet lag. But yes, so it seems like he's rejuvenated, ready to go after and hopefully win a championship this year.
Yeah, and on the screen we got this group that's in the back. We're looking at about 15th on back here there. As been the modus operandi for the evening, the guys are racing pretty hard back here. You got Bobby Anderson's falling back. You got Alex Van der Sant. You got Neil Dyson, Neil Dyson. That's right there? Yeah, racing pretty hard back here in the back of the pack. And these guys again trying to make some momentum, trying to get in the draft, right? Trying to save your stuff. Trying to hit your marks. You're doing a whole lot back here. Oh, by the way, try not to get wrecked out so you can move up.
I guess you can say with Dyson, he's trying to vacuum up the field.
Boom, boom.
We do have a message in our chat. I'm going to ignore that because that's usually what happens to me when I say those kind of things. What happened to Adam Benefield? Well, I'm looking at his stats, and he had a 56-second pit stop. Rather a 30-second pit stop, comparative to 15 seconds for everybody else. So whether he had some damage or what, not quite sure, but I wouldn't imagine it'd be a penalty for that being that short. So obviously he's had to recover from something and has relegated to the 27th position for you Adam Benefield fans. But up front, again, just kind of getting the scope of everything going on. You can see everybody's still tight racing for top 10, 8th back to 15th, but up front everybody kind of singled out for the moment. And we're guaranteed one more pit stop before this race comes to an end, probably in the realm of 210, 220. So I think these guys hoping this thing runs green, and we'll start to see those green flag strategies work out. But we got to get through this mess and clear it on out first. But I don't think these guys want to clear it out. They're all over each other, and they're running very similar lap times.
Yeah, if you're up front, you got to plan for the green flag run, right? If you're in the back, maybe you're going to hope for some caution, some stoppages, to again do some fancy strategy. Maybe the guys in the box can get you a little something better than your car can get you on its own. But we're single file back out, so we're back in the train as guys are still trying to size each other up. I guess by now most of these guys are up front, know who's fast, who's not. You've learned the fall off points of all the people that are around you at this point. So that's what you're going to base your strategy off of and base your runs off of and your tactical moves off of.
Ralph Hutchison trying to work that top of the racetrack back there on the red and black car, about 8th, 9th spot. Remember, he was our pole sitter, but really hasn't been much of a factor. He led the first 24 or so laps of the race, but hasn't really been much of a factor since. He's trying to make himself in a decent position. He's on that outside lane just ahead of him. Alex Murray and Boyd Hagen there in that 69. Remember, Hagen was right there in the mix for that stage. But look at that 22 full yeet on the outside lane, passing 2 cars in one corner.
Yeah, you can full yeet it on the outside in 1 and 2 a lot better than 3 and 4. I can't believe I just used yeet in a sentence like that.
I'm 34 years old, and I'm saying, and I'm trying to be hip with y'all.
Yeah.
No cap.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of odd saying that, but the tires can grip for that. But the minute, if you're in dirty air, your car handles completely different when it's outside. I know that sounds very obvious, and I'm sure I will be pointed out with that. But the minute a car drops down or in front of you, your car is going to handle completely different. So you have to be careful.
I mean, no, that's a good point. Look, and shout out to the 33 folks we got watching the stream here. So I'm assuming most of you are familiar with iRacing and NASCAR, but if you're not, aerodynamics is a huge part of this new Generation 6 car that's a couple years old here in NASCAR and here in the iRacing service. The underbody, kind of similar to Formula cars and open wheel cars, is a great deal of the downforce. And obviously we got the spoilers on the back, we got shark fins, we got all these aerodynamic pieces, and you put a big 3-ton car in front of that, and it's definitely going to change how the aero affects that car, and the driver's going to feel it right away. And again, the longer you do that, the bigger those effects get over the long run, right? If your car is already wearing tight, it's just going to get even tighter if you're trying to run behind someone, because you're cranking on that wheel more and more, trying to get it to turn, and that air, you're just not getting the air you need. A lot of times that's why you'll see guys take that middle lane, right? They're searching for the air, they're searching for the handling that they're looking for.
Yep, and they have, you get that clean air in the middle grooves. Obviously, Las Vegas Motor Speedway allows you to do that, allows you to change your lane, but then that goes back to the debate we had earlier of change your lane. What does that do to the tire wear? So you're kind of at that catch-22. What do I do? Do I save the tires? Do I get the clean air? Do I go fast? Do I not go fast? $1 million questions. Let's see, they're back in the 16th spot. Remember, Alex Van de Sant, he got that stage, or was very nearly in it, and he's back in that 16th spot. You see Sean O'Brien. Remember, I think he was involved in a wreck earlier, if memory serves. So some good racing back there, back in the mid-teens as everything starts to situate out. 24 machine on that outside, and
someone I want to call out is, we haven't talked about much at all, is Matt DeCiani is in that 4 car right behind the 24 car. So it looks like he's back in the pack. Talked to him a little bit earlier in pre-race, and obviously he also wanted a good run. Felt he had a pretty good package. He and the EPI guys, when he races for the EPI Elite setup shop folks. So not having the day he wanted here, he's still back in the pack, but hopefully he can get it together for the last stage. Like I said, guys, it's so hard, even if you're looking at the lap times here, that a lot of these guys are similarly paced, but gaining that track position is just so difficult, and that's why we see all of these pit strategy calls, tires, no tires, staying out, waivers, all that stuff is going on.
DeCiani right around Nolan Hodgson, who, remember, he was another driver gone broadcaster in the booth with me last night on PTR TV. Did a fabulous job in his first time ever in the booth, currently running in that 16th spot. But good racing going on there. Brandon Pierce, he's in 18th. He's trying to recover from an incident, and we have an incident on the front straightaway. Kyle Ammon, RJ Root.
They're rolling.
Kyle Ammon and RJ Root basically doored each other into saving their cars, and we do stay green. That'll spread up that pack, and we got a replay queuing up right here where you can see that off of turn number 4. Keep an eye on that silver and gold car in the middle there. I'd have to get a top-down view of that if we can, but you can see right there, they're trying to spin each other. They were trying to spin, and they were both there to save each other. Top-down view will kind of give us a better perspective up on the top left of your screen.
Yeah, I think the 25 bobbled just a little bit, and RJ was already on top of him. Not a lot he could really do there, and then contact ensues, and then we see all the chaos of everybody's doing everybody, but amazingly, they all kept it rolling forward, so pretty good on the guys for keeping it going straight there. No caution. But as you said, man, the effects of that, there's a lot of time lost, and that's going to come. They're going to have to pay the piper on that when these green flag starts begin. And
that will just dissipate that pack, which will further kind of cement us in a situation where we're going to be more likely to have a green flag run to this race, as we do have a battle for the 3rd spot now with Delaney to the inside of Gitter. Delaney on a slow charge back to the lead. Dustin Hall hanging on by a 10th in front of Hoffman at the moment. Cam Stone in 5th. He's going to try to sneak underneath Gitter, who is shoved to the outside lane for the moment. And I do think we have a side-by-side battle for the lead right now. 92 to the outside of Hall.
Oh, caution is out. Caution's out on the track. What was this?
We'll see who the leader is going to be scored as. That's Jeremy Miller on the inside of the front straightaway here, and an incident with Mark Paget, it appears at quick glance, as replay is loading up for us. Coming off of 4. Again, how many times have we seen that same exact wreck tonight, or even in the past 2 days? probably at least 10 that we've seen that exact same wreck of either someone got loose and cut low or someone drifted up high. Take your pick as to who it was or what happened, but that has been the trouble spot tonight.
Yeah, everyone's trying to rely on, just any bit of complacency or lack of look, it doesn't take but a second for a car to be where you're not expecting them or whether you didn't think they'd have the momentum to get, and just like that, you got a car you weren't expecting, you collide. And yeah, look, turn 4. I mean, that's you're trying to get everything you can off that corner. You're trying to maintain your momentum, and again, depending on how your tires, how your car set up, that means if you got to use the whole track, you got to use the whole track. So. We've seen it quite a bit. I would expect, Corey, that's not the last time that we're going to see that. So as the guys are going to come down here for pit road of some service, fuel and tires.
Yeah, we are out of the pit window. We are at, I believe, 74 laps to go, and the farthest we've seen is 63. So we're definitely out of the fuel window to make it to the end, and I don't think you can even hypermile that. So we'll still need to visit one more time on top of this, but we'll see how everybody handles their pit stops this time.
I want to talk to Jason Taylor because if there's a will, there's a way there.
Yeah, 73 laps, what it may seem like a lot. We do see some guys who are able to stay out that long. We've seen it a lot with drivers in real life, such as Brad Keselowski, who's been able to save his fuel better than anybody. So it'll be interesting to see as we got 3 wide coming off pit road. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back to see who won the battle there. Looked like we had Boyd, Cam Stone, Dustin Hall all racing to the line there to get off pit road.
Yeah, Delaney up to second there. Looks like Hoffman will be the beneficiary of the lead still. Hall back to third. But again, we're at that situation now where it's even a different situation than before. Everybody essentially on the same tires now. Root, remember, he was the leader before, but relegated back to the 18th spot now. But at least he's on the same tire strategy. So we'll see what happens here. I think we'll probably have another 2 laps of pacing. We have quite a few guys queued up for a free pass now. Looks like Souza, Dodson, Dyson, Mobley. Actually, not Mobley because he's pitting, but at least 3 or 4 guys queued up for a wave around, which will put us to about 35 guys on lap, almost pushing 200. We're still going to have 35 guys on the lead lap. That is quite a statistic, guys.
Yeah, well, hashtag tank season, right? Or
tank mode.
Or whatever. Yeah, tank mode. So I don't think we have no DQs. So that we talked about that incident limit at the top of the show. There's 11 incidents for iRacing, so I don't think we've lost anybody that quite yet. We've had 4 or 5 cautions. What's the caution count we got on here, guys? 7. So not including the stage cautions, I think there. So everyone's it's quite a bit of cars for all the action we've had.
11 leaders and 20 lead changes thus far in the race. So rather competitive race. That's just official lead changes at the stripe. That is not unofficial, which if that was the case, we'd probably be upwards of double that.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see, can we get the weather up on the screen? I'm curious to see what we're looking like here as we're getting into the last phase of this race in the end game. And so it looks like we got 70 degrees. Okay. Low humidity. So relatively what we started at. So not a whole lot of change here for the guys. So they should be prepared for these conditions, again, unless we start catching clouds all of a sudden. As you know, there is no rain in iRacing, so no scale over red flag. Hashtag soon, right?
Yeah, I mean, rumor is, I would say, I think we could bank on probably season 4. I would say. Now, how it's going to relate to oval racing, I mean, are we going to have red flags? Is it? I mean, I doubt that.
I can't imagine. Yeah, but man,
it'll probably get. Yeah, but it'll be open for road courses. I mean, we saw the inaugural COTA race in 2021, absolutely a cluster in absolute downpour conditions. How much fun would that be to queue up random weather and have these guys doing a wet race at a road course, or at New Hampshire, or at Richmond, or wherever it could be.
So, yeah, NASCAR is talking about this short track rain package, right? That'd be something to see. And I'd imagine that the first short track we go to that's implemented, we'd have some rain, guys.
Yeah, I hope not. I could barely drive on an oval when it's dry. Let's not add rain into the equation, please.
Maybe that's the magic ticket that'll flip you around and you'll be the pro at it. I mean, let's just.
That's
gotta
highly
think.
doubtful. Highly doubtful, Corey.
But we got to be the optimist here. So here we are coming down to 70 laps to go. Again, just outside the fuel range. I didn't see anybody top off, so I think everybody is pretty much situated with knowing that they're not going to make it to the end. And should be an interesting strategy call. About 37 minutes of action if this stays green. 92 being the control vehicle, pulls into that restart zone. Delaney to the outside. He's going to not get the best of starts, but it gets a decent one here, and that's going to be the green flag. Delaney should be able to pull right back down into second, and they'll be door-to-door for third.
Yep, down into turn one they go. Dustin Hall and Cam Stone are side by side. Everyone else is single filed out pretty quick here. So looks like Cam Stone is going to be the big loser there on the outside to see if he can carry that momentum as they head down into turn 3 and 4. But John Delaney still leading them down into. Clayton Hoffman leading John Delaney into turn 4 here, as they have Boyd Hogan and Patrick Gitter. Man, we're going to keep doing this all night, guys. Follow them in 6th and 7th there.
6th and 7th, Stone on that outside lane, kind of pinching down Dustin Hall just a little bit there through the bumps in 1 and 2 to his benefit. Nearly hits that wall off of 2. We haven't talked about it all race, guys, but that's the way that safer barrier tapers off of 2. It is very, very dangerous there running that high outside. Stone just nearly missed it there, but they're still going to go side by side into the trouble spot. Turn number 4, Stone's going to have a run. He's going to clear by inches over Hall there and try to see if he has enough mo to go up there and battle with the 6.
Yeah, it seems like Cam may be pushing his car. Obviously, we don't know what pit adjustments he made. He's pushing those tires early. I think he saw what some of these other people were able to do on the longer runs, even with burning their tires.
Short-lived gain there for Stone into third because Hall just did the crossover, got right by him, and here comes a battle for the lead, or I thought there was for a brief moment, but just different choices align there. Hoffman still holds on for the time being. The battle's going to be a little bit further back as Stone is already starting to drop back. Hagen got by. Gitter's trying to take his stab at it there, so that Coors Light car starting to drop back, but that could be by design, trying to save the tires this earlier in the run.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like he's just getting put out of position by everybody. So Patrick Gitter's underneath him as they go across the start finish, and Alex Murray is lining up right behind him, and even behind him, oh man, he's got more takers. Jason S. Taylor's getting in line to get a ticket to get behind to get around Cam Stone here. Ralph Hutchison though is up on the top line. Also fight. As Alex Murray cuts him off. He's not going to appreciate the chop there. Forces the. Can't tell who that is. Forces Boyd Hogan to go down low. Is Cam Stone throwing in the flag here? He's starting to run the high line so you can keep the momentum on the front stretches now.
I mean, if you think about it this way, guys, depending on how you want to run this out, you really only need to go about 25 laps. I mean, if you want to split this right down the middle, pit around lap 230, you could push a little bit harder knowing if you only need to go about 25, 30 laps. So maybe that's what's in the cards. I mean, just trying to make stuff up here, see what happens. But Dustin Hall, he wants the lead back. Here he is going around the outside of Hoffman, and he's going to get it, it looks like, pretty easily here. But that 69 is going to try to give a little bit of a shove to the 92 on the bottom, try to give some mo to that inside lane. They nearly door each other there on the tri-oval. Yeah,
and at this point of the race, Corey, we're going to learn who wanted to hold him and who wanted to fold him. With where we are in this point, you also got to wonder, is some people starting to give it an outside shot?
70 laps. I think we've seen guys top off before at Auto Club. I think if they were going to try it, we would have saw someone top off, and I'm just trying to look at my telemetry here and on the back end seeing if anybody did. Actually, there's 2 or 3 guys that pitted a lap later. Paget and Heitman do have 1 more lap of fuel comparative to everybody else. So whether that comes into fruition, well, I guess we're going to have to find out. But they are battling hard and heavy, nearly in the fence. If not, he was. I think that was one of the orange cars there on the outside lane. That may have actually been Delaney hit the fence there, or it might have been Hoffman. But either way, these guys using every last bit of real estate here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I think the biggest point you made there, you're right, Corey. The biggest thing is the amount of options it opened up. Now, look, they're all not going to be optimal. Some of those, the crew chief is going to ball up that piece of paper. Or he's going to close that window on the analyzer he's running. But it definitely opened up more options where that cautions fail, so you can approach this a couple different ways. Probably depending on how your run's been going, and if you, hopefully by now you kind of know what your car, where its strengths and weaknesses, whether it's short run, long run, any adjustments you can make on that. But yeah, the playbook's going to be all the way open for all 35 or so whatever cars we have on the lead lap, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a wide assortment of people doing different things. We've actually got a little bit of a break here in the field. So Adam Benefield in 14th. I don't know if something happened back there, but they've got a clear second pack here going down the front stretch. Yeah, good. Appreciate you getting that shot there, Carlos. I don't know what's going on here, but these guys are, I don't know if this is the save train back here or they just got caught out by something.
Lap times here, Benefield ran a 75 to about a 64 for our leader, but most of the guys in front still running in that mid-7, so he is comparable. It makes you wonder if there was just kind of big checkup that we may have missed while we were watching the leaders here, but we'll see how that does play into fruition. Who's that going side by side? Ralph Hutchison, remember we talked about him, he was our pole sitter. Hasn't really been in the mix, but he's trying to knock on the door of a top 5 here. He got himself up to about 6th, but now is back to 7th. And Trevor Ryan, I literally don't think we've said him once today. I haven't said his name once, but look at him in that 18 machine in the 8th spot as this race enters its waning stages.
For Trevor Ryan, up there in eighth place. Good to see him up there too. I don't know if he's even. This might be his first race of the season here. I don't know if he's run Auto Club in Daytona. I don't really recall seeing him. But again, back marker gang. When you're running in 40th, you don't see a whole lot of people. So yeah, good run for him. Hope he can keep it going.
Yeah, name ring it for me. So I'm gonna chalk it up as a first timer there, but definitely earning his respect from these guys. Running a nice solid pace. Remember. That's what the Friday series is all about, gaining that respect, so that way you can get the permission slip to run with the big boys here on Saturdays. And when you get the permission slip and you do a good job, that's how you get the respect. And these guys like running with you. That's what we like to see. Is that 92 goes by Alex Murray. Alex Murray, we talked about him well earlier in the race. That hey, what are you doing back there in the 20s? But the cream always does rise to the top. So maybe running back in the 20s mid-race, but somehow they always find themselves to the front of the field when the money's on the line.
Yeah, something else to take into consideration was some of these guys, as we mentioned in the opening, didn't really qualify the first 2 weeks. This was an opportunity for them to show that they belong. With, as we mentioned, strength of fields normally being around 4,000, it's tough for a lot of guys to even make the show and have a chance to race against some of these guys.
Yeah, let's pause there for a second again. We got family members and friends, and thank you all for tuning in. As we've said a couple times this evening. Again, like, share, subscribe if you're enjoying the coverage here on 3Wide TV. We also have Corey Silva here. You heard leading the mic here on PTR TV, who also broadcasts some of our events from time to time in our Division 2 series, which is our feeder series for this. So go also and give them a like and subscribe. But the iRating system here in iRacing, right? So, essentially you have a score of skill level, if you want to call it that, right? Of, the more you finish up front in races and the more you win or finish in the top half, you accrue points for that, right? To kind of set aside a level. So when we say the strength of field is 4,000, the average iRating, which is that skill level, right, is 4,000 of the drivers. And again, that's not everybody. We have some 2,500s in there, some 3,200s, what have you. But to put that in context, what that means is, the average iRating, I think, for oval racing is somewhere around 2,000, right? And so having the strength of field means that typically in this series, that this field is 2,000 points more than you'd find in a public lobby typically, right? So high competition, as we've said before, and that's why it's so hard to call into this series on speed.
Yeah, it's a matchmaking service on iRacing. So just to even say it more simply, it's a matchmaking service. You race people that are your same skill level. And these guys, if this was a arrive and drive race on iRacing, they would be in the top skill level race, essentially. If I was racing, I would be probably 2 or 3 rungs below that, as I'm about a 3,000 oval racing driver. And Probably should be a lot less than that, to be honest, but that's at least where they put me for the time being. But I'll tell you, the intensity is kicking up. John Delaney just bump drafted Clayton Hoffman the entire front straightaway, which at Auto Club or Daytona is not a big deal, but the front straightaway here is a turn, and I would not want to be bump drafted through it. But then in that, it goes to my skill level, and I probably couldn't handle the car, but these guys can.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way last year, Corey. No, it's not a good idea. But yeah, as you were mentioning about the iRating, I'm about a 2000, Corey, so you could absolutely do it.
Yeah, it sounds like, Corey, we're going to get you in one of those D2 cars, man, and get you running on a Friday.
I would, if I could stay up long enough for it, I probably would every now and then. But
the wife and kid, they'll be all right, man. Hop in a race car and
somebody get that
for a couple hours.
Somebody get me that Monster or Celsius or some kind of energy sponsorship, and we'll see what we got. But I gotta talk to Kevin Steele, get me a car, because right now I'm still running a Trading Paints car. So I guess we got to get ourselves situated with that too. So help out all the league sponsors here with the channel. But Dustin Hall, he is taking a look to the inside of Murray. Hall's trying to do the weekend sweep. I mean, that's not something I've paid too much attention to, because Division 2 really wasn't really that publicized. But I guess now a weekend sweep, guys, might actually mean something now that they're both covered.
I guess you can say Dustin is hauling the mail.
Like
okay,
trailer park girls, he's going around the outside.
My lawyers will be in touch, Cody.
Yep, that was a call out to Damaris as he drives the USPS
Nobody
car.
gets my Slim Shady.
We got your Eminem. We hear you, man.
At least acknowledge its terribleness. That's all I ask. I'm just waiting for Carlos to get a tomato throwing GIF, meme, GIF, whatever you want to call it, whatever you hit kids call it these days on the screen. But look at someone, comeback kid of the race award here. Brandon Pierce just knocked on the door of the top 10. We talked about him. Had issues at Daytona with having a good car. Had issues at Auto Club when he had a good car. Had issues here, but still finds his way to a top 10. Now, just because I said that, something's going to happen, and I'm going to get the kitchen door thrown at me after this, but he's got himself back in the top 10. Good comeback for him, at least to this point in the race.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. I don't think that'd be commentator score. I think if Brandon Pierce didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. It just seems to always find him, and unfortunately, in the past years, it seems to find him, and it happens all over me on my hood. So, feeling kind of safe here in the booth, but yeah, good run for Brandon Pierce. Good to see him recover from that early incident. You got it's like Chris James, and we got Nolan Hodgson behind them. So. And then Jason S. Taylor, I think, is back here as well. So these guys are, again, clicking off the laps. Everyone, I'm sure, is right now, they're watching those lap times. They're getting that information from their spotter. They're all planning, all right, when are we coming down? What are we taking? Pretty sure we'll probably see some four-tire stuff. It'd be interesting if we had some late cautions and chop it up and people start taking two tires. That's always fun, especially here at a track like this. So I'm sure they're all getting ready for that critical green flag stop is going to kind of set us up for the end.
Tell you, if I'm that one machine now, if I'm in that one pits, I might be coming pretty soon, because he's up there going for the lead, and here he is dropping down to 7th, potentially to 8th, as Ralph Hutchison getting a run on him. Just ahead of that, Murray and Gitter battling for 4th. Who mind you, the top 3, the trio 1, 2, 3, they have pulled away about a second and a half on the rest of the field. So we're getting that separation that we really haven't seen all day, guys. Most of the field separated by a car length or 2 here and there. We're not showing the huge conga line, huge Talladega packs. We're finally starting to, these guys are starting to get a little bit of breathing room here. Not much, but more than they've had most of this race.
Yeah, and I think what we're starting to see a lot too is guys who thought, hey, maybe I can stretch my fuel, are starting to realize, no, it's not going to be possible, and now they're just putting everything they have here for the last 20 laps before a pit stop.
Yeah, first car is coming down. Looks like so the 7 just called out his pit stop, and looks like Andrew Dyson is coming down with them. Now they're back in the 30s here, so that's not impacting to the race, but maybe they're trying to make some spots here with the undercut. So they may start bringing people down with them as they hear these call outs coming in.
It makes me realize too, there's another new feature coming in the build. iRacing is going to start calculating fuel automatically now and giving you just enough to make the end of the race, with a lap to spare. That's going to be an automatic feature in the new build. May take a little bit of stress off the crew chiefs or add a little bit more to it. I guess depends how you want to look at it.
Now, they say iRacing's pretty accurate, but I think I'm still going to calculate my own fuel for a while they implement this feature. Granted, I'm not great at math, so that's probably not good either.
I'm terrible at math, but I don't trust the actual math, so I'm going to do my own. That's basically what you just said.
I am also an accountant by day, Corey, so that just goes to show. Oh, and we got contact. Dustin Hall is around on the backstretch.
Oh, no.
And that'll cue the caution.
It looks like there may be some drama in the Team Conti pit tonight.
Adam Benefiel, he went around off of the 83 at my quick glance. I think that will be validated by this replay. And that is a yes. Luckily, no damage. Plenty of runoff from here at Vegas, but in the age-old Larry Mack expression, that changes everything.
Well, talking to him pre-race, he said he wanted to come here and not wreck anybody. And it looks like, unfortunately, not only did he get somebody, he got his teammate, which is the number one rule, guys.
If we get a different look at that, it's hard to put full fault because the one was underneath Gitter, and the one got tight underneath Gitter off a 2, and then Benefiel was he couldn't really foresee that happening. Kind of reminds me of Gordon in Kenseth at Chicagoland. Gordon allegedly wasn't prepared for Kenseth's checkup and then just made that contact there. I mean, I think it was honest, but I threw allegedly in there because not everyone has that same opinion. But either way,
I think someone last week said that Gordon
here.
did confirm it was on purpose.
All right, well, I'm still saying that, even though I'm going to go against it.
Allegedly, I can't. My legal team's not that strong, guys.
But this could be the money stop, or it could not be. All depends how many sets of tires you got on the wall and how many more yellows we have. But all these guys coming to the attention of their crews, and we will see how this all shakes out. I don't expect any strategy. All 4 tires is really the only way, but
yeah, at this stage, I don't see any 2-tire strats, or you wouldn't be able to keep the track position you gain anyway, so it doesn't really make sense. We're too far out. But again, as we get closer, that could be an option on the table as we start getting towards that green-white checker type of range.
Yeah, 92 will persevere and remain in that lead position. So let's talk to him if we can. We'll take him from his team chat. And all right, Clayton, it's Corey and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're heading into money time, man, here in Vegas. Hate to use the pun, but I have no choice. You had a good car, yet the strategy's been on your side. Now you got 4 fresh tires and about 37 laps. What's your feelings now, man?
Feeling pretty good. Just got to make sure stay up front, not get into trouble. Pick your battles wisely, but don't give up too much. A lot of these guys are pushing really hard right now, and you got to set yourself up for the end of the run. But you can't sacrifice too much falling back.
Yeah, I know last night in the Division 2 race, tires were a concern, especially coming to the end. In case that there's any more yellows, are you comfortable that you have any more sets of tires to play with strategy, or do you got what you got right now?
Yeah, I got another set of tires, so I'm not worried about that. I know there's some people that I think have used up an extra set of tires, so I think it'll work out in my favor.
All right, you got yourself set up pretty well. Anything else for them, guys?
Nah, man, we're looking for a show up here, so go out there and get him, Clayton.
Thank you.
All right, we'll let him get back at it. Move my mom up to his room. So, yep, he's got that extra set of tires, and it's kind of hard to. I can go back here. I do have the telemetry. I know Carlos probably has it too. I don't know how much is visually displayable, but based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like Cam Stone has made an extra pit stop comparative to everybody else. He's made 7 stops. Everybody else has made 6. So one could infer that he is out of tires right now. But there may have been a time he just did a splash and go. All I know is he's been to pit road 7 times. I don't know if he's changed tires 7 times. They don't tell us that, but he could be out of tires. And there's a bunch of other guys, Van de Sant, Bobby Anderson, John Broussard, guys who have been to the pit 7 times. So there might be a few guys in this field that could be out of Goodyear's, but we don't know, and we'll just have to find out. And if a caution even comes out, it makes it a big deal.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing here. Obviously, we saw last week with the amount of cautions at the end, how that played a factor. Is that something we're going to see again this week? I hope not. I hope we get a clean race here to the end.
Yeah, it looks like we got another legacy lockout here. So just to, just point out the team factor we got here. So Legacy Esports, Clayton Hoffman and Boyd Hogan are on the front row there. We got Stint Analyzer. We got Alex Murray there on the second row for Prodigy Esports. So we got a little bit of a mix here, but again, I'm pretty sure that these guys are in the same Discord. I'm pretty sure they're going to get a countdown to get the optimum start here across that start finish line and put some distance between the rest of these guys.
They will, with 36 laps to go. So basically, at this point, it's basically we talked about iRacing official races, the arrive and drive races. It's basically a C fixed left to finish this thing out, boys.
Yeah, it's good because a lot of these guys also know what it's like for these short distance races, about 37 laps to go, and see how it plays out.
Exactly that. We'll see what happens. We got fresh tires on everybody up front. It's just going to be a matter of speed and a relatively short run to finish this out. Everybody's all wadded back up here, entering the Geico restart zone. On that loud pedal is the 92. Stone did not get going there. That's going to stack up the inside lane, but the 92 got a good hole shot.
Yeah, Delaney got an awesome start there on the bottom, so he's probably going to be able to clear Boyd on here. He's staying tight on him, and Alex Murray's behind Boyd. Let's see, can he get him? Nope, does not. So he's going to have the momentum there. Oh man, that's looks like Delaney's going to have to lose a couple spots here as they dive off in the 3. Alex Murray's now looking to the top behind them. You got Adam Benefield, who unfortunately had the contact with Dustin Hall. Patrick Gitter, who's been up front all day long, is still working on these guys, trying to get back up to the lead here as they cross start finish and heading down into 1.
22 on that outside, trying to make something happen. But guys, we're at this is that annoying point in the race where it's a short enough run that you don't have to fully save, but it's a long enough run that you can't just go full send the entire time. How do you balance that as a driver headed down to money time right now?
So I know last night there was about a 20 lap run to the end where I had tires. I sent it. Obviously these guys are going to know the proper strategy. I would imagine they're probably going to save for about 5-10 laps, and then you're going to see the guys who save their tires start to move up. Obviously 5 to 10 laps is not a very big amount, but it could play dividends in the end.
Yeah, I think either way you go, the key to that is commitment, right? Whatever your crew chief, your spotter, you got to have your mind made up. You can't be on the fence. We don't have enough time to really kind of see where this goes. So you want to make a decision. You know who you're really, by this point, you should know who you're racing, right? If you're racing for that 15th, that 14th spot, maybe you're racing for 21st. You got an idea of what they're running. You got an idea of what they're doing on the long runs, short runs, and that kind of informs your decision. Either way you go, you got to make up your mind now so you can put that strategy in play, because you got to commit to it, because typically when that happens, man, it comes down to the wire, and you don't want to waste time making your decision and end up 2-3 laps short of catching somebody when you could have got around them.
These drivers, I want to stay right on that white line now, and I don't want to go to the outside at all. It's probably 10 laps to go. I want to have that outside lane in my back pocket. I want to get those huge runs when it matters. But right now, it matters for Ralph Hutchison. He's trying to make something happen back in that 7th spot. He's to the outside of Gitter and trying to make it happen there. He's got that momentum built up. Stone trying to recover. Here comes Hutchison trying to get to the outside of Murray. So he hasn't really seen the top 5 since the very early stages of this race, but he's having to, use a little bit of those tires to make it happen, but this is the time to do it. And look at Delaney. He's looking to the outside for a brief moment on Benefield, but has to pull back in line.
Yeah, at this point of the race, it seems like you burn them if you got them. And that's the saying I've heard a lot recently with this tire model, obviously having to save that, but this is go time. This is no time now to lay back and wait for the runs to happen.
Yeah, they keep tussling up here in the front, but this front 8 is still walking away, so there's another separation. So we've been seeing that quite a bit tonight. So Cam Stone right here in the 57 in the Shamrock colors here is the caboose of the train. Well, they're starting to walk away from Brandon Pearson, that second group. Even though they're up here slicing and dicing guys, they're still making the speed to pull away from the rest of the pack, which again, Again, if you're going full send, again, we're talking about the pit strategy. The more space you get between you and the next contender, so that gives you some leeway behind you, just opens up your options for your playbook for your crew chief.
Door on Boyd there in the trial. They're nearly you kind of scared me there, but and just to the point, guys, aggression's going to kick up here, but we still have on lap 238, we still have 34 drivers on the lead lap. So one mistake could be very detrimental to a very good run here. Got to have that in the back of your mind. You don't want to lose a good run trying to go from fourth to third if it's going to cost you to have to go back that far. But Delaney right on that back bumper of Hoffman here, clicking off more laps. Hogging in that number 69 there. Benefield, highest he's been in quite some time. Hutchison really using that middle groove to his advantage. The only one using that middle groove. It's nice and clean and nice clean air up there for him. Getting that momentum on that high side.
I'm seeing some action back here, and it's the back marker always looking towards the midfield here at the back. We got some good racing going on here. About 20th or 18th, we got Kyle Ammon and Nolan Hodgson in the back here with Alex Russell, Jason Baker, Matt DeCiani. These guys are pretty much stacked on top of each other. They're just trading places 2 wide, 3 wide. They're racing as they're going into turn 1 now, as we still have the leaders on the screen here. Some good racing going on here at the back.
There's going to be an incident. I mean, it could very well be here, as I'm pretty sure someone just got off to the turn 2 safer barrier there, but all continues just fine. Dustin Hall back to that 19th position. Remember, he was just in that spin, and he just has to go through that gaggle now to get himself back into a respectable position. 3 wide.
Oh, not that.
Jason Baker got really sideways there, but does continue. There was some contact there potentially with Sean O'Brien. I can't quite make it out, but that all did clear itself out. We stay green. Big wiggle there, big moment for that 51 machine, but all is still well here at lap 241.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, sticking down. Some of these guys that are in 15th, 14th, it's tough to get top 10s in this league now with all this talent. And some guys are seeing that opportunity to get a top 10 when they may have not gotten one in 10, 15 races.
Battle for the lead, guys. John Delaney outside, new leader, number 6 car.
Oh, that is not what you want to see if you're the 69 car. So Boyd and Clayton, they've been up front all race, even Patrick Gitter. We've seen this, Cody, we're used to this, and Corey, you've seen this a little bit last year. You don't want this 6 car in the lead with clean air, and you certainly don't want him to start to walk away from you, because once he goes, he's not coming back. So I'm sure these guys are going to hold on to him as long as they can to make sure he doesn't go anywhere, because the 2022 champ is dangerous when he gets up front.
Yeah, and another thing to look at too, John Delaney is closing in on the all-time wins list lead in 100% over Bryson Hicksonball, RIP. But as we keep going, it's going to be interesting to see if he sees what's potentially in front of him and goes for that win.
Only guy that I've seen this weekend that had long run speed that probably beat Delaney was Matt Long. He dominated last night for a good portion of it, but unfortunately not able to, I don't know if he didn't make the race or if he just wasn't able to run at all, but not present here tonight. But I haven't really seen anybody else that has the long run pace to sustain. But Clayton in that 92, he's not rolling over and playing dead as we hit 25 laps to go. We know that 69 has speed on the short to mid run, but we're kind of going to a mid semi-long run now, and haven't really seen anybody be able to handle that 6 machine and have that speed. But we're still within reason of having a caution. We still have guys that have another set of tires on the wall, so you can't knock everything out, especially when we have 3 wide racing going on with Cam Stone briefly being in the middle of a 3 wide there, but racing hard with Alex Murray.
Yeah, they're side by side at the back here, so he's got to be careful though. They're going to lose the draft if they battle much more. It looks like there's some separation between Cam Stone and Patrick Gitter, so you definitely don't keep your eye on the prize, guys. You want the top 5. You want to try to get that win. And if you're too busy battling at the back, I mean, we're pretty draft heavy. It's not quite a Daytona Talladega, not even an auto club, but the draft is pretty important here. And once you lose it, you lose that 10th or 2/10 of lap time, and you start going back to the other pack, and you lose that ability your chance to win the race here.
69 outside of Delaney, another battle for the lead, and they kind of came together very close in the center of the corner there. The 69 washed up the track, lost a lot of his momentum. 92 is trying to give him his momentum back with a little bit of a push there. Look at Benefield was taking a peek to the inside of the 92. Door was shut on him, but hogging on that outside lane. He's going to have the momentum, and he's going to shut the door and clear Delaney.
Oh man, these guys are racing extremely close, man. You know, it speaks to the trust that these guys have with each other, and obviously they've been racing around, and you know, this whole race up front, they've been dicing and moving and shaking. But they're trusting that no one's going to have a moment, no one's going to get loose, no one's going to hit the wall. I mean, they're right on each other, bumper to capitalize on any opportunity.
And they're trusting iRacing and the netcode model to allow them to do this too. We saw the 41 have a very awkward incident last night because of it, but when you cut people off by millimeters, you're putting a lot of trust in absolutely everything that it's going to go the way you hope it does.
Yeah, true story.
And as we're watching this battle for the lead, Adam Benefield sneaks his way into third place, and he's going to be somebody to watch. He saved these tires probably there for about 10 laps, and now is ready to go for this win.
I mean, last week at Auto Club, he said, and I said verbatim, there is no way I'm losing this race. Well, I mean, if we saw the results at Auto Club, he did not win this race. So
Spoiler alert, he lost that race.
Yes, and he lost it by, I think he finished like mid-30s. So he clearly has redemption on his mind, and he is in a very good position to take advantage of it, but he has two very fast cars and only 17 laps to make something happen.
And look at this, guys. We got the 8 car. So we talked about that gap that was going back to that second group. We got the 8 car in 8th position, Ralph Hutchinson, who's trying to bridge the gap, and I think he's actually doing it here. That's trying to close down this pack of cars and trying to make his way up to the front so he can contend for this win. Again, Ralph still looking for that elusive first win in the 100% Cup Series, and certainly trying to secure his Tier 1 charter status for next year, trying to get in the playoffs. A lot happening for this car, the 8 car that he's trying to make happen now.
He was gauche faster than the guys in front of him last lap. Not enough to eclipse a second gap, but definitely was a little bit faster, which is pretty easy to do when you have guys racing this aggressively in front of him. Definitely will slow them up. But guys, let's I do this a lot of times on my channel. We've been doing it, me and Andre. We're at a point now, I usually do it under caution, but we don't have a caution right now. But let's just go ahead and say it. Take your pick. Who you got? Who's taking the checkers?
I got the 83.
I don't know.
I'm gonna cop out and go with the 2022 champion. I got to go with Delaney.
You know, I can't really do it. My heart wants to go with Hall, but he's just not in a position to do it. I'll tell you who's the sleeper pick. I'm gonna go with the 57. I'll go with the 2020 champ, who is quite frankly due for a win. He's due for some good luck. And again, he's got a couple wins here at Vegas already. So I'm gonna go with the 57 in the Shamrock car.
We've taken the 3 champions in this league.
That sounds like smart picks to me, Cody.
Stone got really loose underneath Gitter there off of 4, so that's not helping your cause there, DeMaris, because he's going to be back almost a second from this lead trio, I guess, if you want to call it that. And look at them through the center, 1 and 2, contact.
Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Stone, don't do this to me.
How did he save that car? To quote
Speed
Ricky
and
Rudd,
talent.
2001, he's just that daggum good.
Yeah, that was definitely
Chevy Monte Carlo 400. You got to go back and watch the victory lane and sequence on that. But that was a great save on the back straightaway there. But I think we're going to need the help of Barney with the yellow flag if the 57 is going to have a chance at this.
Oh, speaking of, there we go.
Wow.
There's your talking.
What? Is that all it
Andrew
takes?
Dyson?
That's Prince, and he's in the inside grass.
Put that magic wand away, Corey.
My
It's
God,
dangerous.
my God, timing is just incredible on that, to quote Kyle Petty. And let
13 to go.
if you had to guess what corner that wreck was in, guys, just which one do you think it is? You got a 1 in 4 chance.
Does it rhyme with shore?
Survey says. How many times have we seen that exact same wreck today?
Yeah, replay on the screen here as, yeah, that's definitely the yellow car. That's Andrew Dyson there. So, yep. Well, let's see who that helps. Let's see who that hurts.
Yep, there you can see. That's a wiggle, that's a contact, and that's an ouch. And that's another ouch.
Yep.
And another one.
They're on top of each other, and there's nowhere you can go. Nowhere you can go at all.
And I did understand that pun you made, Damaris, with the magic wand. Bravo. Give you credit on that one.
Give me my score, Carlos. I want my score. As the producer's busy pushing the buttons on the replay. There we go. There's my guy. There's my guy.
Here we come.
got
Pit road. Busy place.
Here we go. It's the money stop time, guys.
Chris James. He is staying on the racetrack. We're going to be probably 7-8 laps to go.
So James Hall.
Now,
see Bobby Anderson.
This is 30 lap old tires, guys. This isn't 10, 15, 8.
Now,
these are 30 lap tires.
Now, wait. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's what I did. Now, I only had 11 laps on my tires, but here's the deal. It's strength in numbers, right? It's strength in numbers. If Chris James and Dustin Hall, you can drag enough cars between you and the fast guys, because it's even with the tire advantage, it is hard to pass here. It is so hard. You know the guys are going to be fighting like crazy in the last 13. It just might give you enough time to make it to the end.
So remember, earlier when I said we were trying to make drama, I think you learned. You learned, young grasshopper. Because we only got
drama.
We only got 3 this time, so I don't think the numbers game is going to be too favorable in this situation. I'm just trying to look through the pit times here. There were a couple people that did take 2 in that. Heitman and Taylor, they're maybe about 10th or so.
Hey, we can, if you're up to, we can work with that. We can work with that.
So definitely trying to make stuff happen here, and there's no guarantees that is the last yellow flag. In fact, I will bet a non-existent amount of money that this is probably not the last yellow flag of the race.
I don't have the Larry Mack trends. Maybe, Cody, you have them. I'd probably say we're going to get at least one more caution here. Just again, there's going to be a 4 wide situation, probably coming out of turn 4, probably going into turn 1 and coming out of 2. And we know that just does not work. As we got the pit stop number up on the screen, thank you for that, Carlos, is quite a number of stops here. So as we've been speculating, we can't see if they've taken the tires over the wall and put them on the car. But they have the number of stops that equal the amount of tires they have. So obviously guys will probably be smarter, and typically what you want to do is try to save a set. So you'll pick a spot in the race where you can just run on older tires. So who has been able to do that? Who has not been able to do that? We're going to find out here real quick.
We will, and I do want to give kudos to these guys because we started this race 8:30 Eastern, and we're at pushing 11:30. So we almost finished this race in the same time that we finished a 100-mile shorter race last night. So that just shows these guys put on a really clean show for the most part this evening. 9 cautions, of course, 2 of them were for the stages. But all in all, given how hard this race has been, great race by all these 100% guys here tonight at a very, very action-ridden track here in Las Vegas.
All right, and guys, there's my guy in 7th position, right? Cam Stone, 2020 champ. All right, he's got the fresh tires now. He's in position. He's got the caution he needs. We know he's going to send it. Look, all these guys in front of him are going to send it too, but we all know Cam will send it. He'll send it even more. He'll super send, right? He'll Amazon same day ship this thing, and I think he's going to do that. Try to get up front.
Yeah, and the thing about Cam Stone too is that incident he had. I know Cam. That lit a fire under him, probably more than having a 48 race winless streak.
I will tell you guys that the person on this restart that I feel is in the best position is actually going to be Adam Benefiel on the outside lane right now. Let me just check the statistics. Yep, Anderson's on the old tire. So right now, Benefiel outside of row 3 has the fresh tires. And I think he is going to make something happen out of this because he's going to be able to react to what happens in front of him, just go to the outside and just send it around. The 69 of Hagen, he's going to have to respond to Hall on those old tires, and that may cause a little bit of a wad up. But let's see what happens. Isn't this the last caution? or are we going to ride it green? Let's figure out what happens. Conclusion of the race here at Vegas for the high roll is 400. Who's going to take it home? Into the Geico restart zone. We're wadding up. We're tightening up. We're really tightening up. We're making contact, and we're wrecking. And a couple people incidented out back there.
Yeah, I see the 27. I see the 7 car involved in that. Someone just blinked out of existence, so they've hit the limit.
And that will throw the yellow back on the speedway here. Now, the 7 around, of course, that's Kevin Steele. 27 of Alexander Russell.
Yeah, we get a replay on the screen. Let's see if we can tell what happened here.
I mean, it just started off as a very, very check up and wadded up restart, which meant that by the time you get to about 10, 15 rows deep, almost inevitable, you could see at least 2 cars simultaneously blink out there, which meant that they hit that magical 11 incident cap.
Jason Baker might have been one of those cars, or is he still there?
So we have lost. I'm trying to see who we've lost. We've lost
Also,
at
stage
least
2 winner.
We've lost Grassy. We've lost Root. We've lost Baker. We've lost Hodgson. At least all those are currently drivers out of the race that are registered as 1 lap down. Ken Ron
Was in that, yeah.
5 guys that we would presume out on incidents because, again, with the statistics that we have on the back end, they were all out of the race, off track, and they are exactly 1 lap down. So that would infer that the race control director said, hey, you have 11, you go bye-bye.
Actually, I can tell you. So, yeah, Hodgson is out with 12 incident points. Baker's out with 13. Root with 12. Ken Ron hit 12, and Wayne Grass hit 11. So that all will get you out of the session on incident points. Looks like Andrew Dyson's sitting on 10 incident points, so he's in the danger zone here on the restarts, and we're probably going to have a couple more of these, so he's going to have to watch out as well.
So this should put us into a within regulation green-white checker. So I'm assuming based on this current rate, we're probably going to go green on 265, I believe. So that would be a 3-lap dash to the end within regulation. So if a caution does come out, that will trigger our 3 overtime sequences. And we'll see what happens. But hopefully it does not come to that. But Dustin Hall still up front on those older tires. Really never even had to get into 3rd gear. So didn't really get to show anything off. And those new tires, 69 on back, they didn't get to show their stuff. So it's just a matter of how this restart plays out. Obviously, that was a really slow get up into the restart zone. As admin, I don't know if that looked good to you or if you had any concerns about it, but hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the leader's discretion. I think people were just anticipating him going, and he was going to hold the field. So as long as he kept pace speed, there's nothing more the leader needs to do until he decides to go. And we get back to what we talked about a little bit. We're getting to this green-white checker situation, and we talked about those strength in numbers. Has Dustin Hall made the call, and does he have enough cars between him and the people he needs to stay in front of to sneak out and get another win here?
So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think you guys are obviously old enough to go back to 2007 or remember it with clarity, right? Maybe. So Jeff Gordon at Pocono, he ended up beating Ryan Newman because he stayed out. Newman had fresh tires. Newman was about to pass him, and at the exact second he was about to get past, it started downpouring, and they called the race. And then Kyle Petty said, I'm pretty sure, if I was racing, I would retire because I cannot beat someone who is that perfect on a strategy call or something on those lines. And that's basically what would happen right now if Dustin Hall wins this race. After what happened at Auto Club, where he won the race on old tires that shouldn't have won the race and still pulled it off, if he can do the same thing 2 weeks in a row, the rest of the field may as well just pack it up and go home because you can't beat a guy that can call a race that perfectly.
And you talk about Pocono and rain. That is perfect strategy call because it always rains up at Pocono. Obviously, no rain in the forecast here, so we'll see what happens.
That's 1 to go. So And as I called it, we'll go green with 3 laps to go, still within the regulation distance. Top 2 old tires. First row old tires. Second row we have the outside of the front row with that 5 machine. He is on old tires. Everybody else has some fresh Dr. Feelgoods on their machine. So how they fan out into turn 1 is going to be the point of interest right now, because now Hagen on the inside lane.
Oh man, that is not what they want to see there. Yeah, he's got some fresh ones on now.
I mean, Hall is going to try to get up to speed as smooth as possible, and he's going to try to hold that white line as best as possible in turn 1. So I said it before, I'll say it again. I kind of want to be on that outside lane, second or third row right now. So watch out for Delaney. He's going to have the ability to send it on the wall and go. I think that's probably what's going to happen, but let's find out together, and we'll try to do this once more. Last restart didn't go too well, but let's see if this one goes a little bit smoother. Pace car is going to take that hard left, pull into the safety of pit lane, and believe me, it's the safest spot that you can have at Las Vegas right now. Hall's going to get on that loud pedal, green flag, a little bit more spread out, a little bit more space. Everybody's going to get up to speed nice and smooth this time. Let's see what happens in 1. So far, so good. Hall's going to hang on, but the 69 is going to go to the outside. Adam Benefiel, here we go. 3 wide for the lead. We're splitting it on the back straightaway with 3 laps to go. Hall's going to have nothing to do, but the 69 is going to try to rock the wall. Adam Benefiel going to try to pull off the closer card. Is going to take the lead with 2 laps to go.
And he's pulling away in a hurry, but Boyd Hogan has the run, so he's catching him back here. So it looks like it's a 2-car shootout as we're going to dive down into 1. Oh, but don't look now. John Delaney is getting his stuff together here, and he's going to try to make a run up here to challenge for the lead as they come out of turn 2.
Oh, fence is the 69. That's going to cause him to lose some time. Delaney's going to go to the bottom. All that's going to allow Benefiel to pull away by 0.3 of a second. If we can get to start finish, we're going to finish it under green. And I see 3 by 3. I see 4 wide. Are we going to make it to the white flag?
Oh, a little contact between Delaney and Boyd Hogan as they cross the line. So they're doing each other. And this is all good for Adam Benefiel.
We are 4 by 4 in the second pack right now, just so you know right now. But up front, Adam Benefiel up by 0.3 of a second. He had issues. He was in the back of the field, and he somehow finds himself up front. And I think we have the multi-cam to show you off the crazy racing, but he had his issues. He called the race last week at Auto Club. He didn't deliver. He didn't call it this week, and he does. Adam Benefiel wins the High Rollers 400. And look at that gaggle behind them.
Oh, they were all over the place. They were fanning out 5, like he's called it, 4 and 5 wide on the backstretch. They were getting after it in that second pack.
Carlos, I don't know if you want to go back to about probably the 10th, 12th spot and just queue up the last 2 laps, because they were literally 4 by 4 and somehow just shows the skill in the series, pulled it off. But guys, I didn't see that 83 having the pace, but sometimes you don't have to have the pace. You just have to have the cojones to make the move when it happens. And clearly Benefiel was the master of that tonight.
Yeah, that run at the end right there. He made that run and stuck to it and pays off, and he's in victory lane tonight.
Yep, Hagen did get the second, Delaney with the third, Hoffman and Alex Murray rounding out your top 5 as we watch Benefiel burn it down, and it looks like Kevin Steele kind of pulling up in the distance here, try to show his congratulations.
Yeah, Team Conti in full support here. So a good win for the Conti boys. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Dustin Hall, but it looks like they split the strategy and it worked out in the end in the 83. And looks like Seven's waiting to celebrate with his teammate there.
So good bit of driving right here, and good bit of sportsmanship setting up for the photo opportunity there. 183. 7 and 25 at the front straightaway. So offer our congratulations to everybody at a great race here in the High Roller 400 at Las Vegas. And we'll get ready for our post-race show here. I think we'll run down the final results first, and then we will head down and grab these guys for their interviews.
All right, winning today's race is field 3. Boyd Hogan finishing second in the 69. Jonathan Delaney third in the 6th. Clayton Hoffman 4th. Alex Murray 5th. Cameron Stone 6th. Brandon Pierce finally having a great day out there, finishing 7th. Jason S. Taylor finishing 8th. Sean O'Brien 9th. And Trevor Ryan 10th.
And we had Alexander Russell in the 11th position. Kyle Ammon, who you saw there celebrating with his teammates for Team Conti. They had a good run for him in 12th place. Derek Heitman in 13th. Looks like we have Carl Dotson next in 14th. So a good recovery by the two. So he was up and down the field all day long, but looks like he capitalized on it and got it back up the field there. Jeffrey Souza subbing in the 20 for Devin Medeiros. Patrick Gitter 21st, the 21 car in 16th. Dustin Hall fell all the way back 17th. Heartbreak for him. Ralph Hutchinson in 18th position in that 8 car. And Alexander Van der Sant finished 19th. And Mark Paget rounding out your top 20.
Our next 10, we have Dalton Mobley in 11th. Chris James, he was up there, and issues brought him back to 22nd. Bobby Anderson, up and down day, 23rd. Chad Sander, quiet day for him, 24th. Matt DeCiani, 25th. Kevin Steele in 26th, first car lap down. Then we have Tanner Marty, John Broussard in 28th, 29th, Andrew Dyson, and then Alex Princeton in 30th. And just to round out the field, I'll just right through it, Wayne Grassy 31st, Ken Ron, RJ Root, Jason Baker 34th. And then we have Hodgson, Gibson, Miller, Bury, Schofield, and Hoytsma rounding out our 40-car grid here today. But let's head down to victory lane. I usually take the winner, but for some reason, I think as drivers, it's going to be a lot more interesting if you guys talk to Adam, because you guys know him better than I do, and he's obviously a riot to talk to. So who wants the honors to go into victory lane?
Get him down here. Let's talk to him.
All right. The man who pisses excellence himself, Adam Benefield, victory lane.
The balding bullet himself, Adam Benefield. Man, what a heck of a finish there. Looks like you got the call you needed, man. You got the scenario you needed, and you put it all together. You know, you called your shot a race or two ago, and it didn't work out, but holy heck, man, you put it together today. How was it?
Well, it depends on which part of the race we're talking about. It was, we were there. We had speed all night. I felt like I could put the car wherever I wanted to. If I want to run high, I could. If I want to run low. And I kept looking at the lap times throughout the run. It was just like me, Boyd, and Delaney were just all the same speed. And I didn't think I had the handling part, but I just didn't have the speed like I had last night. It seemed like last night I could really, on the back end of the run, find that extra half a tenth I needed on the long run. But I made a mistake, driver error there at the end of stage 2, and I sped, so I had to start in the back, and I didn't, the way that it was, the feel of the run, I didn't think I was going to get a caution, and I did. Well, I was the caution, so I hated that. We got the rolling, was moving up pretty good, and I got up to Dustin, and it was, it happened so quick. Like, he backed out and I backed out, but by the time I did, I already hit him, and I felt like crap. I beat myself up over that pretty bad. I didn't, out of everybody out here, I did not want to wreck him. And, but, you know, we came back and we fought, and we got the win. I mean, I don't even know how I did it. Somehow we won. Yeah, I don't know how.
I actually want to go back to that. So let's back up at the very end there. So you had the adversity. You know, we saw the contact with Dustin, which is important because you guys were, like I said, you had the pace. We were kind of picking, you know, between the booth here. We had a number of you guys were expecting to be at the finish there. But take me back. So that last restart, right? So you're starting. You're on the third row. I think you're beside Delaney. We're coming to that green-white checker. Did you have a plan? Did you have a strategy? Did it go as planned? What was your mindset going in that last restart?
I knew that the first one, I felt like I felt like I could. Honest to God, with Boyd being in front of me, I thought it was going to be like a second place finish. I felt like we were too close. I knew we was going to get the jump on Delaney, with Delaney having 2 cars on old tires and us having Dustin, and it seemed like on both starts, that opposite lane, would stack where me and Boyd would just push Dustin and like real smooth link up, and all three of us would get a great jump. But on that last restart, I went through 1 and 2. I went into 1 and I kind of had a little bit of a run, and I poked high, and Boyd went up to cover it, and he kind of stayed there, and I was able to dart back low, and I was praying. I was having flashbacks from when I turned Dustin. I was just praying to God that I turned low enough to where I wasn't going to hit the apron, and there was a hole between Dustin and the apron. So I stayed in it, and it worked out. And I told myself, no matter what, I hadn't been wide open at all. And I was like, no matter what, I'm pinning this thing. We're either going to end up in the wall or it's going to turn. And I just stayed focused out front. I can't even tell you what happened behind me. I don't even know how.
Oh, we can tell you what happened behind you. It was 3 wide and 4 wide all the way back, but you stayed out in front of them. Adam Benefield, so you kept it pinned, and it worked out. So you're looking good. You're going to be in the playoffs if you make your starts, right? You got your T1 charter secured. The 2021 champs going to have another run here at the title, so it must feel good. What do you think, man? You can give this one another go this year and bring back home the cup?
Yeah, I really do. I think you asked me this about a month ago, and I'll just be lucky to, make the playoffs. But I feel like we got a hell of a group over here, and I know there's a build coming. Some stuff might change, but I feel like, if we stay on top of it and keep executing like we're doing, I really feel confident with it. Hell. Team Conti the past week, we're 4 in a row right now. Look back at Auto Club with Dustin, Michael Conti on Tuesday night, Dustin last night, me tonight. We swept Vegas, get the broom, so that's pretty cool. But I think we're pretty strong right now, firing all cylinders. We just got to execute. That's the biggest thing, and not have minimize the errors.
Yeah, well, you guys are on a roll right now. Adam Benefield, your winner at Las Vegas. Before we let you go, Adam, anyone you want to thank? Any other shots you want to give before we get you out of here?
Oh, yeah. Big thanks to Martin PCs. They came on board with me and Dustin this year. Best freaking PCs on the market, best customer service on the market. If you were in the market for a PC or any of your gaming needs, go over to martinpc.com, check them out. Race EPI, Ford Takes and Fuel podcast, everybody at Team Conti. Dustin, I've been at the racetrack all day. I got here 15 minutes before the green flag fell, and so big thanks to Dustin and all my guys over here at 100% Cup League for all my Team Conti guys over here. Kevin Steele, Kyle Ammon, they're pushing, they're always cheering. Always trying to make us better as a whole, but and you guys for broadcasting it. Y'all do a hell of a job, and I'm glad that y'all are able to bring this race to people so they can watch it. I feel like we put on a hell of a show, and D and Kevin, best freaking league in the daggum service. So yeah, I'm gonna go drink now.
Yeah, man, go celebrate with your team. Adam Benefield, your winner here at Las Vegas. Team Conti with the sweeps this week, got the brooms out, so they're having a good show. So, Adam, go enjoy with the team, man. We'll see you back next week. Hopefully, we're talking to you under similar circumstances.
All right, man, thanks.
All right, that's Adam Benefield, your winner here at Las Vegas.
We got second place here. We got Boyd up here in the booth. First off, Boyd, you got us okay?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so we have been saying your last name about 4 different ways. Can you clarify it for us?
It's Hogan.
Hogan. All right.
Score for Damaris.
All right. So either way, man, you had a fabulous run. You were up front the majority of the day, even through all the strategy. You found yourself up there running all these different lines, but caution after caution there. What was your mindset towards the end? How did you want it to go? And then ultimately, how did all those restarts change your how the race played out for you?
I felt like the longer we could go green, the better off we'd probably be. So that was definitely what we were cheering for. Didn't really want to see the yellow with about 15 to go, but as soon as we did, it was pretty much just, you know, I mean, it's a war. You're going at it with everybody, you know, dudes you haven't even seen all day are up there and throwing haymakers, and you know, so it's kicked off a hell of a battle, honestly. And then yeah, that last restart, I just wanted to get Dustin out there, push him. I knew if I went to his high side, Adam was gonna go low, and he was going to complete the pass probably. But I was just trying to get the run off the top and the momentum so I could set something else up, and then just got tight and didn't lift and walled myself. So, you know, got to go hard for it at the end, and that's what we did. Ended up P2 with the old Reaper Camaro, so not too bad. Good points, good stage points. It was a good run.
And then, yeah, we head into the bread and butter of the season. Obviously, Auto Club starting the bread and butter of the season. We come here, and then we head to a different animal next week. We head to Phoenix Raceway, flat 1 miler, heavy braking, completely different ball game, probably some downshifting. So now that we go out of the speedways, headed into the slower short tracks, what's that car going to be like there? How you guys feeling with the setup heading into the short track, specifically with a build week and some physics changes to deal with as well?
Yeah, the build week's going to be interesting because I'm not sure if we're getting that the update where we're getting rid of the glands in the diffuser there, but if we're doing that, then it's going to be a hell of a week, honestly. We're going to be sliding around a little bit more than we probably ever have been in these cars, and should be a decent bit more fall off, at least I'd hope. So that'd be pretty cool to see. It's always going to be interesting, especially when they're updating the next gen, because they take pretty big swings at it, honestly. So it'll be interesting. I think it should be a pretty good, we should be bringing a pretty good car. We got a good base, I think, from Milwaukee we can kind of carry over, and we were pretty good at Richmond last year. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think we'll be all right.
We'll see if you can carry that over, man, and we'll be here to watch you. But who do you want to give a shout out to for your second place effort here this evening?
Oh man, I gotta give a shout out to everybody at Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, Curb Records, Reaper, Speed Lab. Check out the ReaperSpeedLab.com. You can always slide on over there and get some A open, B open, C open sets. Pretty much everything to do with the oval side of the service. Oh, sorry. And then yeah, you guys, honestly, this is an awesome league. You know, 100% length. There's not a whole lot of times you see it working out, but honestly, I've been waiting to race with you guys for a little while, so excited. You know, it was pretty cool. I got to race with Dustin and Adam there at the end. They've always been pretty good friends of mine, so. And obviously Delaney's a hell of a blast to race with as well. So yeah, shout out to you guys obviously for putting it on, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and you got the pace to fight with him, man, so I'm sure you'll get one of yours. You'll get a victory one of these days, but congrats again. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
And now Cody has caught up with our third place finisher, John Delaney.
John Delaney, this is Cody up in the booth. You got a copy?
Dude, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are you tonight, John? Obviously pretty good, finishing on the bottom rung of the podium.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. It was a hard one to get there at the end. It was a pretty fun battle. But yeah, pretty happy with third place.
Yeah, so we heard post-race that you're feeling a little bit under the weather. Walk us through what your plan was with the race and knowing that you're not feeling 100%.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep it calm and kind of save it to the end, all my energy to the end. But yeah, just kind of keep it chill, just stay up front. That was really the main thing. This is one of the best tracks on the sim. Just how it flows is just kind of like my style of racing. So it really just kind of do my thing, and I think we did that pretty well. We had good stage points. There was a lot of different strategies going on throughout the race, and I think we played it out pretty well.
Yeah, and walk us through that final restart, John. Obviously, you knew that it was going to be an interesting type of finish with everybody on different tires there. What was your plan going into that, knowing that you had Adam Benefield and Boyd Hogan right beside you?
Yeah, I know those guys were pretty good short run. Just had to kind of stay with them and follow them through the lap cars. I didn't get a really good start that first time, but I was able to get around Bobby and Chris James pretty well the second one. But kind of followed it. I think last lap I was in third behind Boyd. He got tight off of 2. Kind of went try and pass him, and just us being side by side didn't help the fact with trying to catch up to Adam. But it was all good. I enjoyed racing. It was a really fun battle with all the guys up front tonight. It was really fun. So yeah.
Finally, is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yep. Thank you guys in the broadcast booth for streaming it and broadcasting. Appreciate it. Admins for running this league, Kevin and Damaris. Also Kevin for the paint scheme. Thank him. Cody Setup Shops, Stint Analyzer, Susan Media, and Apex Racing with Jason, Sean, and Cam. We had really good points tonight, so we should, I believe, definitely kind of bring us out above everyone else in the team championship points, and everyone on Lockdown Racing.
Absolutely, John. And well, we'll let you go get some rest, and we'll see you next week at Phoenix.
Thank you, guys.
So that is our post-race show here, our top 3 interviews, guys. We saw a great race here in Sin City, and of course, looking forward to what happens next week at Phoenix. Thanks to joining me in the booth. What was your take on the race and first times in the booth, or maybe not first times, but a new role for you guys, at least for the night?
Tell you what, I don't know about you, Cody, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad I was up here tonight. This was a hectic one to watch. Guys are all left, right, center, all over the place. I mean, we got a little taste of it in D2. But hey, look, man, the High Roller 400 delivered. It was exciting racing. We got green, white checkered. We got some stage racing. You know, we got some 4 wides in there, some 3 wides. But definitely glad I was up in the booth with you guys. I feel safe. I don't know how safe I'm gonna be out there in Phoenix if I'm out there next week.
I feel the same way. Obviously, was hoping to get out onto the track. Vegas is one of the better tracks on the service, but glad that I got the text when I was driving away from the track to come on back up into the booth and work with you guys once again.
Yeah, it was a great time, so make sure you stay tuned next week. You can join me on PTR TV next week on Friday night for the Division 2 race, but that's going to be Corey, Damaris, and Cody signing out of the booth here. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.